Save your breath for screaming.
Well, I say every day it's a getting closer to taking a bath with my fucking toaster.
We're not qualified.
Explorers in the further regions of experience.
If you do not listen,
Then the hell with you.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the 129th episode of Screaming Into the Void, the show where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like. My name is Samuel the Infamous, and joining me today are my co-hosts, Green-Haired Anti-Liberal.
Hello.
And Shadow of Hawk.
Hello? Sam, is there still a no-go on Panzer operations for in between?
Yes, that's an indefinite moratorium, dude.
Understood. I'll pick a different book.
No, shut up. Sit there and be silent like children should be.
Understood. Yes, muting.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. we're officially live. We're a little bit late today. That's entirely on me. There was some conversation backstage, but I was running late today too, so it's don't blame anybody else. We are live currently on YouTube, Twix, and Rumble. So if you're in any of those places, please do drop a chat. We will try and highlight as you come in so that you know that we see you. And we have some stuff to talk about today. But before we get to that, I'm going to start with the chat. Hi, Lapo. Good to see you. Andy Pickle? I'm not going to math right now, dude. I've been awake for like an hour. We've got Aaron Laura with us. Green-haired anti-liberal dropping in over on Rumble.
Who's that?
And on the YouTubes. I don't know.
What?
Some random bitch shows up in the chat sometimes. It's weird. We've got Old Blindy with us today. Hello, Zillage. Good to see you, my man. And then Shadow of Hawk, who's also up here on the panel with us today. That said, we're happy to see all of y'all. Gal's in a weird mood. So
Nope.
you're probably going to hear like lots of like, it's so fluffy, I want to die kind of stuff coming from her. And Shadow got things started off by being a little bit gay backstage. So it should be a good show. Folks.
Capybara.
Capybara.
What did I just say?
Donkey.
I got a Glock in my Rari.
Right. Oh, that's funny, Aaron. So for those of you who missed last week's episode and didn't happen to see the 3 shorts I clipped out of it, there was one where Shadow had he was trying to get something out. He was trying to say something, and he kept slipping and putting the wrong word in the sentence. And when he finally corrected himself, and I was just like, dude, are you having a stroke? Like right now? Is that what I'm seeing? It was pretty good.
A really weird situation.
Yeah.
I think the best part was like that pause, because I don't even remember the pause. Like I remember what happened, and then to me it was one continuous chain of events, but there was that pause in between the last failure and then me saying it correctly, as if there was a factory reset.
Like I wasn't
Right.
even there that week, but I felt like somehow you channeled like my inner ghost or something. Weird, because like the word you used was incorrect, and then you realized it and like malfunctioned.
Oh, I do that all the time. Unironically, like I'll be at work and I'll use like a word that sounds very similar to another word, but I immediately know it's wrong. I'll repeat it. Like, wait, did I just say that? Pause and then use the correct word.
I do the same thing because I hate when I do that.
Yeah. So, to start things off, happy first week of not being under fucking Biden anymore.
Jesus.
Celebrate good times. Come on.
Honestly, kid, yeah, it's been kind of glorious.
It's been nice.
Yeah.
And like Hegseth, that was
yeah,
some
got
good
him
shit.
in. A lot of
Dude,
people,
did you
a lot of people
see?
upset about that, but I'm not.
Yeah. Did you see? I like in his the like hearings where they're asking him questions and shit. Did you see the Montana senator question him?
Possibly.
Sheehy.
I saw a lot of shit this week. I don't recall specifically which one that was.
So I hadn't seen it. I don't even know where to find it because I was watching the Black Conservative Perspective, and he
Mhm.
put a clip of it up. And one of the questions he asked him was how many genders there are, and Pete replied 2. And Tim Sheehy was just like, I know, because I'm a Sheehy. I'm all for that. I was fucking dying. And like he like audibly laughs, and like you can tell that like initially he found it funny and then he thought about it more and he laughed again. It was so good. I'm like, oh my god, I fucking love you. And thank God John Tester has been booted the fuck out. Like Tim Sheehy's a good replacement. He's so fucking good.
Right. Well, you remember during the confirmation hearings when the one chick from why was like, well, I'm not a general, and then the next person to ask him a question was like, so tell me, General Hegseth. I mean, I'm sorry, Mr. Hegseth.
So I'm
Pretty
getting most
fun.
of what you're saying, but you are cutting out, sir. It sounded funny.
Damn it!
It
It was.
Did you
But
get?
we're not gonna.
Oh, it was very funny. I got all of it. I think
Was
Gals
it robot
had the
voice?
internet
God
moment.
damn it!
I was not the only one,
No,
so
it was
you did,
probably
child.
me.
Oh,
I win.
oh.
Yeah, if it had
Did-
been her, if it was just her, it would have been. Yeah. Anyway,
We're
Okay.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Silence.
I'll go play
Child.
Sudoku then.
Carry on, Sam. You're back now.
Improve your mind, not your mouth. So anyway, no, it's been a week of awesome stuff, and actually one of the things I want to talk about today is the reaction in Davos to Trump and some of the shit he says. There was an article published by one of the economic editors at the BBC, a guy named Faisal Islam. And is just really unhappy about this whole thing.
Good.
Let's see, share screen, because I'm a professional and I prepared ahead of time.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty good. He was talking about like how shocked everybody was that he would come out and how dare he comes out and says something that puts America above other countries. It's gonna be good. Yeah,
Wait,
I thought so. I got about
Oh, sorry.
What?
I was gonna say, wait,
No.
hold on. He's what?
Speak.
Oh my god, the
Oh.
two of you.
What I was gonna say was, oh no, he's saying the quiet part out loud that the United States is the world hegemon. Holy shit!
That's not what he said. He said we're gonna put our own country first, and if you don't like it, suck it.
Oh, well, I haven't seen
Isn't
this clip yet, so I
hegemony?
was. What?
You said hegemon.
Yeah, hegemon.
Well,
hegemon
it's
is
not
the leader of the
like
hegemony.
he didn't say that verbatim. Hegemon is basically an empire over or hegemony is an empire over a large portion of things, like the whole world.
Yeah.
kind of deal, which is not what we are.
Right.
Nor should we be, because fuck the rest of the world, frankly.
He said hegemon instead of hegemony. That's all I was saying.
Yeah.
no,
Well, the hegemon is the office at the top of a hegemony.
Yeah.
Oh.
The hegemony is like the state of being. The hegemon is like the person who's actually in the position of the control of the hegemony.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
First place I ever heard that
Robot.
word was in
It's almost like electronic music
The
sometimes. When
Orson
he does
Scott
this.
Card.
Yes. I think I know where Sam was going with that when he mentioned Orson Scott Card. The first time he heard that was Ender's Game in regards to Peter Wiggin. I can't remember if he made the office of hegemon. I cannot remember if he made the office of hegemon or if he got elected to the office of hegemon. But basically, he and his kid sister do a lot of bullshit to take over the world using journalism.
Yes. I don't know if you guys can hear me because it's showing stupid shit on my screen, but
Now we can hear you.
Damn it, child. I was
Okay, well,
literally
that's
about
good.
to say, I wonder if Sam is going to drop soon. But no, you had to go and answer him. God,
I'm sorry.
damn
I'll go to. I'll go to.
you
it's going to
should.
be one of those shows, folks.
Running away so I can't yell at you further.
I was going to tie. I can
have-
still. Yes, I know you do. I can still hear you when I'm in timeout. All I'm doing
I
is removing
know you
removing
can,
myself.
but I prefer
Oh.
you on the screen.
Oh, you like looking at me? Thank you.
At the Pidgey thing.
Well,
Pidgey
folks,
Ocho.
it's going to be one of those shows today, I think.
You're a show.
Like
Yes,
I
he
said.
is. I'll switch to Steel Talon then.
Anyhow, so this, I mean, I haven't actually watched this little clip here. I was reading the article, which I think we're going to go through, but I'm going to press play on this. Hopefully it plays and isn't like total shit. Maybe it's
We
buffering.
have a tremendous deficit with Canada. We're not going to have that anymore. We can't do it. It's I don't know if it's good for them. As you probably know, I say you can always become a state. Then if you're a state, we won't have a deficit. We won't have to tariff you, et cetera, et cetera. But Canada has been very tough to deal with over the years, and it's not fair that we should have a $200 billion or $250 billion deficit. We don't need them to make our cars, and they make a lot of them. We don't need their lumber because we have our own forests, et cetera, et cetera. We don't need their oil and gas. We have more than anybody.
I mean, that's fair, right?
Mm.
That play
Yeah.
okay for you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Slightly robot-y at
I think he's
times,
right
but
on the
yeah.
fucking money.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Lepo, yeah, good luck with your lumber. The problem, Lepo, is that so the federal government seized most of our forest lands back when Teddy Roosevelt was in charge, and that's why a lot of it isn't. That's why we import lumber, is because we're not allowed to cut our own down by law. Which is stupid.
Like, I see a point to, like, you don't want all of it to be open for forestry because then some capitalism's going to capitalism. But at the same time, the solution is not deprive us of our market and make us dependent on foreign assets. So
It was never about preservation. It was about ownership of resources.
what wasn't Teddy the one who made the
goddamn,
national parks? Or
Yes.
yeah,
National parks,
thought it was-
national monuments, all of that stuff was about ownership of resources. Think about the places where these things exist, right? Yellowstone National Park, right? The Black Hills National Forest, right? These places are chock full of resources. Then the government takes control of these places. They also can take control of everything that's not only on the land but below it as well, which includes minerals. It includes like coal. It includes rare earth minerals. It includes water rights.
Sam has just ruined Teddy Roosevelt for me.
Yeah, he was kind of a dick.
He and the Rough Riders were awesome, and now
The reason-
I just have the Rough Riders now.
Well, the reason I know this is because about 87% of my entire state is actually owned by the federal government. It's very hard to get land here, despite the fact that we have so much of it.
Huh.
And it has been since Roosevelt. So yeah, it's pretty stupid. So anyhow, this Davos elite nod along as Trump delivers ultimatum. Now they're not nodding along in agreement. Apparently they were just shocked into silence. which I'm all for because fuck those guys. And when we're talking about Davos, for anybody who's new here, we're talking about the annual World Economic Forum conferences that happen in Davos, Switzerland every year. It's- which is and apparently this thing was broadcast and beamed to them on like a 30-foot screen, so very much like a God Emperor kind of thing.
I'm not going to grace you with my presence in person, but you
Yeah.
can gaze upon me from my great monitor, you filthy provincials.
Well, he wasn't talking to them; he was talking to the American people.
Oh,
You know.
I
So now he wasn't partaking in their bullshit. They were watching his shit at the conference.
see if I
So-
knew this was a topic, I would have done research and not sounded like an idiot. Less of an idiot.
I don't require my people to do homework. You know that. World leaders, the bosses of the world's biggest companies, and a sprinkling of celebrities gather in the small Swiss mountain town of Davos for the annual World Economic Forum this week. That was this week, by the way. On the other side of the Atlantic, President Donald Trump was starting his political comeback as the new U.S. president. I think that's a little disingenuous. His political comeback started in fucking 2020. Nothing will stand in our way, he declared, as he vowed to end America's quote unquote decline. There's a lot of like hyperbole in this and a lot of, personal bias sprinkled throughout this. So bear with it. Towards the end of the gathering, President Trump was beamed in straight from the White House webcam to deliver his message of world domination, no quotes this time, directly to the global elite. I fucking love that. I love it. It's good. It's good. While he charmed, almost seduced the audience with an incredible picture of a booming U.S. economy about to scale new technological heights, he simultaneously menaced with threats of tariffs to those who did not choose to shift their factories into the U.S. Trillions of dollars of tariffs for the U.S. Treasury for those businesses exporting into the U.S. market from foreign factories. Your prerogative, he said, with a smile not out of place in a Godfather movie. And then for one of his own, the Bank of America chief, Brian Moynihan, a remarkable public lashing accusing the lending giant of debanking many of his conservative supporters, which happened, by the way. It happened.
Yep. And they tried to claim on Twitter that it didn't, yesterday.
Mm-hmm. He awkwardly mumbled about sponsoring the World Cup. I mean, to be fair, right? It's a little hard sometimes to tell when Trump is making a joke and when he's being serious, because he will say things that he's very serious about in a joking manner, and he will say things he's kidding about in a very, very serious manner. It's very strange with him sometimes. So I will give him that. In this first week of second term, most people at Davos were nodding along as they cannot think what else to do just yet. And that, I mean, I don't want to put too fine a point on it, but that gets me a little hard.
Must be rough to be them.
Right? We're talking
Slaves.
about the richest fucking
Not
people
you.
in the world.
Yeah.
The most powerful people behind every corporate and governmental decision in most of the planet, and they're just like, they're stunned into silence. That's hilarious to me.
Yeah,
So
because
yeah, I'm a
the-
little turgid over it.
Yeah, the one variable they could not control that has the power to challenge them decided to speak, and he is not in lockstep. It's great to see. I love it.
So in 2016, well, I guess 2017 technically, when he took office, because the voting was in. Yeah. I wasn't as tuned into everything, so I don't know if his first week was like this. I feel like it probably wasn't. And people back during his presidency were always talking about how they wanted him to be like the bull in the china shop. And I feel like this past week has been daddy don't give a fuck. you're going to fucking listen because he got home and the bull in the china shop is kind of poking its head out. In my mind, for a lot of the shit, like, yeah, like he doesn't give a shit this time around because they fucked with him so much. And I know that I sound like I'm like fangirling over him. I am a little bit, but it's not blindly expecting everything to be perfection and he's going to do everything perfect, you know, like everything exactly how he said he would and all of that type of shit. But I don't know. It's been a fun week, and
It's
like
been a very
this
fun week.
this just makes me giggle. This stuff that you're reading here, it's nice to feel this way. I haven't felt this way all of last year. So yay.
Yeah. It's been good. It's been real good, you know. Like I might need some alone time with some candles and my CIA overlords. Good.
You're so fucking gay. That's so gay.
Oh, like you're one to chop.
Hey, look at this.
Chalk? Chalk? Chalk?
I stopped myself.
The fact is, the CIA watches you masturbate. They do.
Yes.
Through any
No,
device
see,
that you have that has any kind of like camera capability.
Yes.
No, see, I shut all of that shit off in the back end developers stuff. I have a workaround for all of that. I literally have to turn something on in order for me to open my camera. So y'all, sure. Me, not so much. I win.
I mean, that works as long as you don't have a smartphone or a smart TV or any smart device, really, because they all have inbuilt cameras behind the screens.
That's what I'm talking about.
Ones
There is
that
a
you can't
way
access.
around that. No, you can. And you literally have to go through this entire process. And that's what I do. I've talked about it on here before. I've talked about it on Ballbusters. Nobody wants to fucking listen to me. But whatever.
See, Gal's solution to avoid getting peeped on by the CIA while she's engaged in personal time. My solution is just watch the most horrible shit ever. That way the CIA just chooses not to watch you.
Jesus, Aaron. Me too. You know, a little Sade, little mood music. You know, it's all good.
Just make it, and then Sam just makes it gay.
I mean, I guess if you want to call it gay, it's self-love, dude. You know, might be a sin, but it's not gay.
No, I mean to the way you get the CIA not to watch. See, Gal goes through like the hoops. I just scare them, and then you just make it gay.
I figured they came for a show. That's all. You know.
Yes, it's not gay when it's the CIA. Understood.
That should be on a T-shirt.
There is one, but for the TSA.
Yeah. Well, I mean that one should say something a little bit more explicit about rape, I think. But yeah. Anywho. All right. So, two worlds colliding as the America First, and that's in quotations, president was beamed in like a 30-foot interplanetary emperor into the beating heart of the rules-based international economic order. Right. I love how they phrase this as the rules-based international economic order, you know, as if any of them were fucking elected anywhere. It is one thing suggesting that trade deficits are a problem with your domestic electorate. It is quite another to suggest at an internationalist forum that a G7 ally, Canada, become a state of your nation, eliciting gasps in the audience and not just from Canadians. Tremble, motherfuckers. Oh, good stuff. The address was, by design, charming and offensive. There was carrot and stick for the rest of the world, but not Canada. You know, we're just going to take Canada. That's what the gist is there. As delegates absorb the mix of threats, invites, and on occasion praise, many appear to be trying to decide just how much Trump might damage the global trading system, whilst assessing just how far ahead his America is getting in this tech-driven AI boom. Davos has been for this first week the alternative pole of the Trump second term. It sounds to me like the globalists are taking a stand against America, which is fine because we can fucking take them.
I
You know,
wonder
as long as we're
why.
united on it.
Yeah. I wonder why the people trying to be the world government would be terrified by the current ruler of the world going, yeah, we're going to fucking do what we want. And if you try to control us, I hope you brought lube, fuckboy. Or pleasure girl, depending on your gender.
Pretty
Which
much.
there are only 2 now.
Yes.
Again,
Yes. Klaus.
somehow.
I mean, yeah, the only thing that would make that even sweeter for me is if they stopped using the word gender altogether, because it's a bullshit fucking
Facts.
construct created by an idiot in the 60s and started going back to there are only 2 sexes and gender's not a thing.
Wait, are we talking
You're
about
a
money?
bullshit construct.
Okay.
I mean, he is an Eldritch Terror. That is kind of bullshit construct. Ah, gotcha. I'm retarded.
You know, Gal and I were having a conversation the other day, and like I told you I was going to bring this up. I wish that you guys could hear the way she is off camera, offline, because it's so much worse.
How so?
She's incredibly entertaining to have a conversation with. She will say
absolutely.
shit that is unbelievably harsh. Anyway, one of the things that came up in that conversation, which we also talked about, was that I think your entire generation was, genetically engineered to not have a sense of humor because y'all aren't good at it.
See, I'm not good at stroke.
Just
I'm not
say-
good at it. What?
Just say yes and you agree.
Yes, I agree. Okay. I don't know why. I feel like I've had a part of my soul ripped out, actually, now that I think about it. I don't use that word. Fuck you, Lapo. I don't use that.
It
I'm
isn't
not-
a
I'm-
word.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a Cuban. Sorry, Canadian. I don't say those things.
Yeah. Let's see. Zilch said something. Reminds me of that video in America's channel when the guy said in a room full of women that they were all ugly and they all gasped in unison. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. He's like, we're not ugly. Girls rule the world. You know, it's like, okay, if you say so. So there was a coherence to his agenda to use every means to drive down energy prices, including by pressuring the Saudis on oil, which I'm all for, because as much as I'm not really afraid of BRICS. I think that BRICS kind of is going to die on the vine a little bit. I don't think they're going to, present any kind of economic alternative that's viable down long term anyway. Short term maybe, but so did the EU, and look what happened to the fucking euro, and by extension everybody's economy all the way to the top, Germany, right? It isn't working out.
Hell, look at the German economy.
But right. And the German economy is crashing in part because they pushed the euro on everybody, and then they invited people in who only brought the value of that down. So,
well, also
Greece, I'm looking at you.
I was thinking the Balkans more than anything else.
Yeah, I really think when Greece begged for admittance and then also begged to have Germany and by extension the EU offset their massive debt while their country was literally on fire, I think was really the beginning of the end for the EU. So,
yes.
But anyway, OPEC is still kind of a thing, and I think we should be saying fuck you to those guys. We don't need their shit. They should be buying from us. Fuck them.
Yeah. Or paying us 10% of their GDP to keep their Persian Gulf open.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think we need to do that, man. I think we could just fucking leave. Let them stew there in their own devices. It's the Middle East, dude. They'll blow they'll all blow each other up eventually.
Exactly. Yes, no, they'll kill themselves, and they don't want to kill themselves. So have them
That's
pay us
not
to keep them
our.
from killing themselves.
That's what I'm saying, man. We should just leave. The same problem I have with annexing Canada, man. We don't need to annex Canada to access their resources. We just need to be patient, because if they're up there over a long enough period of time, they're just going to eat each other, and we can go in and get the resources after.
The government is already doing half of that just by MAID. So
Hey, Canadian healthcare. If you say it, you get struck. It's Canadian.
now, did you say
healthcare.
MAID? That's just the name of the program.
Yeah. Lepo, as far as I know, that's complete bullshit. I think there are people on the left saying that Trump is planning to do that, but no, he's not. I think he's come out and said something about believing in the sanctity of the vote and of the Constitution. And the Constitution says the president gets 2 fucking terms. And there's a good reason for that, because if we didn't have term limits on that, or third term or whatever, you'd end up with a situation like Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who served 4 terms, died at the beginning of his 4th, and had no intention of letting go of power ever. He's also the reason for the New Deal, which is what Obama based his Green New Deal on, and the creation of the Social Security Administration, which has been fucking Americans for generations now. It was not a good thing. And so, yeah, there's good reason that we only have 2 term limits. As far as I know, no, nobody's seriously considering trying to change it.
So I read that on Twitter that a Republican introduced it into the House, like a bill that has it in there.
Well, they need to fucking knock that shit off, because that's not cool.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought.
But no, I
didn't.
hadn't
delve
heard
in.
that myself, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I was wrong, Lepo. It's possible. But yeah, because that the problem with that is that if they do amend it for a 3rd term, first of all, Trump's like 87.
Yeah.
Right? He's not going to be around for a 3rd term. Like, probably.
Who said it's for him?
Well, that's my point. Is that even if he did take a 3rd term, right? Which I don't believe that he would, because again, unconstitutional, and I do believe the man believes in the Constitution, despite what people say about him not. Even if he did, right, all that does is open up the door for somebody like Barack Obama, who has already served 2 terms, to come back again, like in the flesh, and this time instead of just with a proxy.
Yeah, I was thinking Barron more than Obama, but yeah, that's a valid thing.
Yeah, well, Obama's got quite a few years left in him, so yeah, it's so I hope not. As far as that goes, like I said, Gal says she heard different, and I believe her. I haven't seen that myself, but
I mean, I didn't research into it. It was just one post on Twitter.
yeah. But you also have to keep in mind the sheer number of fucking things that are introduced on the House and Senate floors that never go anywhere. Too. So, would you want AOC 3 times? No, we wouldn't want AOC at all. We don't want her where she is now, man. I want AOC is back behind a bar in fucking Brooklyn or wherever the fuck she's from.
I hear you. Counterpoint. Have you not seen? She recently had a speech where she made some I don't speak German, but it sounded like she made some very valid points. Maybe
she has 2 very valid points, but that's it, and they're both on her chest.
No, I think she plagiarized a certain World War II German speech, because she sounded exactly like him, and I think it was very well articulated.
I mean,
wait, have neither of you seen the video where like she's got like her hand out and like waving it around like what Elon did, and it's German. It's a German man's speech over it.
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, then the joke doesn't make sense. I'm sad now. I'll go to the naughty corner.
Wrong channel.
yeah, that doesn't happen here.
Unfortunately.
Excuse me, I didn't hit the button in time.
No worries.
So anyway, back to the article. Fuck OPEC. Yeah, we can absolutely pressure the Saudis. You know, like they need more fucking money anyway, right? Yeah. This said he said would not just help to lower inflation, but also
Sam?
drain Russia's work offers of oil dollars to help end the Ukraine war by Trump. David Miller.
I wonder if chat can read it. So even though he's breaking up and may drop
I out?
momentarily. Oh,
I mean, I could read it for him if you'd like, but I don't think he'd like that.
well, I believe he's back now. Speak, Sam.
No, it would not.
Good, Sam.
I wasn't aware that I had left. I was
Hold on. That's a meme. Hold on. Hold on.
So kid's not going to remember this because he's way too young, and Gal might actually be just a touch too young for this too. But there was a time with sitcoms in the 80s where certain ones at the end of them, the production, stuff would come up and it'd be sit, Ubu, sit, good boy. I'm sure some of you guys know what I'm talking about.
Gesundheit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully it's clear enough on the screen for people, except if you're on your phone, it's going to be difficult to read, I imagine. But anyway,
I put a link in
the bottom
chat
line was this. Yes. Good.
for later
Wait,
if you
what?
want to look at it.
Okay.
It's a surprise tool to help us later.
Old Blindy knows. Old Blindy knows. Aaron Laura knows. Any Pickle knows. So, all right. The bottom line was this. Is President Trump serious about what sounded like a campaign trail threats to the world economic system? The answer will verb for the next 4 years and beyond. The answer sounded like a most definitely yet. Oh, God damn it, here again.
I
Okay.
could hear you.
If you two would be so kind as to hold the fort, I'm going to reboot real quick.
Okay, Robot
Okay.
Sam.
And Gal, he means just you because I'm working on a meme.
Do you want me to continue reading?
I think
I
he's
think
gone.
he left already.
Oh,
That would
yeah.
be a
yeah.
no. Oh. Sam?
Sam, speak.
Hold on just a second.
Good boy.
I think, yeah. Shut your face.
He's
But
gonna
just in
fucking
case,
shoot me.
in the private chat, here's the link to the article. Maybe. There we go. Okay.
Thank you.
We're going to try and power forward. But if I have to reboot, the link is in the article, or the article is in the
Article's in the
fucking,
link.
I don't know. Anyway, it's somewhere in there. Yes.
Private chat.
Sammy,
So, all right.
little boy.
Hey, Larry.
Hello, Larry.
All right. So, some leading U.S. CEOs told me that they were preparing for tit-for-tat retaliatory tariffs to be applied to their exports.
That was nice
Their
alliteration.
assumption was that the president's yeah, I thought so. Their assumption was that the president's love of a rising stock market would restrict his deployment of tariffs. But no one really knows. In any event, much is up for grabs. He has already withdrawn from the World Health Organization, which is a huge fucking win, by the way. Fuck those
Oh my
guys.
God.
Are you
I needed a
though?
towel after that.
All of my college professors were All of my college professors were saying it was a bad thing.
Well, they're idiots and commies and
Yes,
globalists. So
yes.
fuck them.
I think one's a jihadist actually, but yes.
It gets better. In the promenades, the whisper of his was of his Project 2025 allies, which, by the way, is like, again, do your research, folks. The Project 2025 is a separate thing. He's never endorsed it. He's not. It's a whole other thing.
He's actually publicly stated he's
Suggesting U.S.
not part of
withdrawal
it.
from the IMF and the World Bank too, which would be even better.
Yep.
Yeah, I just
The head of the World Health Organization.
all the
already-
world spanning
he's already
organizations.
cut
We
out
need to
stuff.
back the fuck out of all of them.
The head of the WHO is already.
Yep, we already talked
cutting back
about
stuff.
it.
You already talked about it, Sam.
Oh yeah, it was like in just the previous line from the one I just read. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they know the ride is over at least
So,
for the next 4
yeah.
years. In fact, he actually
Yep.
he
So
just cut all funding to other foreign nations, including Ukraine. He just cut everything off.
Yeah, I mean the Ukraine thing. I think there's some temporary caveats to
Yeah.
that. It's for the next 90
And
days, which is unfortunate. And yeah, but we need to be cutting them all off permanently. Fuck them all. We need to be getting out of NATO again and staying out this time. We need to withdraw from the United Nations. Just pull back everywhere. As far as I'm concerned, I think we should pull all of our military people from foreign bases home
Well, of
and
course you want us to
let
be
them
like
see
how
what it's
you
like to
are.
not have us there.
Of course, you want us to pull out of everything. I mean, hell, you're in a
Yes.
state
Yes,
in
I
the middle
do.
of nowhere. We don't want. Everybody doesn't want to be like you. Son.
Yes.
Everybody doesn't want to be living
It's
in a
nice.
tunnel somewhere with no human contact. That's almost literally.
I didn't say
what
anything
you-
about no human contact. I just said that America's big enough that we don't need anybody else. They need us. You know?
Okay, why do you think we've been helping other people? I think it's okay to help people help themselves. I mean, we shouldn't be doing what we're doing, which is footing a bill for NATO and all these other places, and then the rest of the countries aren't kicking in anything, and then they're throwing tantrums when somebody comes in and says, "Hey, pay what you owe."
You want to know
Yeah.
why they're able to do that? Because our military is there taking care of them. So
Yep.
we should step back
Yeah.
from taking care of them. We should pull out.
Hey, Kenzo.
Like, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed my 2 years in Japan.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my 1 year in South Korea. Wish I'd gone to Germany, but that's a different story.
But there's no, it's not, they don't see us being there as a threat. They see it as an excuse to not have to have their own tax dollars go towards funding their own defense because our allies are just going to be here. Thanks, United States and Britain. We don't have to foot the bill for our own protection. Let's have the bigger places with more money that we're just basically stealing from them foot the bill for us.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's essentially it for me. Is the rest of the world is a fucking parasite sucking on our teeth
For
and
$20.
I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
You know,
Because
it's just-
wasn't
it's something that needs to end.
Because wasn't it the case that and correct me if I'm wrong, before Trump took office, Greece and I think Germany maybe were the only two NATO countries that were meeting their 2% GDP minimum. And then Trump was like, we're going to leave unless you guys do this. And then immediately everyone met their 2%. By the way, Greece was on fire at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I don't know. I don't think it's our problem. Honestly, I really don't. None of it is, none of other people's fucking wars, other people's skirmishes, other people's defense, other people's fucking, like aid or whatever. When was the last time any of these motherfuckers came to our aid? How many countries who were supposedly allied with sent anything to North Carolina?
None.
Nothing,
Not
but they sent people to California.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I believe was just to give the middle finger to Trump. Because why would if you're a California official, you don't need Mexico and Canada to send their firefighters to help you. when you got everybody in this country? Why would you do that? And then New York fire department says, "Hey, we'll come," and you tell them, "No, we don't need you, but you'll take help from Mexico."
Yep. So I don't know. Might do the whole world some good because they'd have to learn to stand on their own, or fail. I don't believe in too big to fail. I think that's a bullshit statement.
Where did I?
I think all things end, and sometimes it's just time.
I think you want all
time
things
will
to
come for
end
me
just 'cause
too.
You can blame it on cats.
I'm not going to blame it on cats. In fact, if cats go, even better.
But you say your internet went out, Sam.
So, but yeah.
No. Oh,
It's been in and out. I'm gonna actually, Gal, you
What,
yes,
Sam? Hello,
Shadow?
Sam.
Oh, I was gonna say.
I'm going to reboot. I'm right here. Fucking Jesus fucking Christ! I'll be back.
Why are you cussing? Why are you leaving? We can hear you just fine. See what you did, Gal?
No, that was my fault.
And now Gal's gone.
Well. And I'm distracted because I'm making a meme.
Did Sam leave again?
Yes.
Sam blew his top. Well, Sam blew a tentacle, and he is rebooting.
Ah. Okay.
I tried to tell him we could hear him just fine. But, I guess...
Well, I don't know if he is rebooting because he was the one sharing this, and it's still sharing.
There you go.
No, that was me.
Oh.
And now it's not coming up.
By the way, you're
There it
doing a
is.
good job. You're doing a good job on baking the books or stir frying them, whatever you're doing to them on weekdays.
Thank you. I don't know where. Now I have to scroll down wherever he was at. Damn it. Thank you. Cooking the books.
What are you cooking it with though? Like Crisco? Or are you using like olive oil? I mean,
The sweet dulcet tones of my voice.
well, I guess that'll do as long as it doesn't catch fire.
Mm.
Books are basically kindling.
Yes.
Screen. Go. See, this is how you do it, Sam. It's called dark mode.
I would assume that's the first thing you would change.
I am going to zoom in on it though. Do we know where he was at? I can't remember the last thing he said on the article.
I cannot either.
No, he read this part. The rest of the
Well,
world
he went into a rant about how we need to pull out of anything and everything. So
yeah, I feel like we might have been on this sentence, honestly. I don't remember what he was talking about, but that's how I feel on the subject matter.
Well, it was the next line after talking about the head of the WHO.
So it's down here.
I guess doing some replanning due to America pulling out.
America does need to have a strong pullout game.
Well,
Listen
I
here,
failed that
Sam.
twice. I failed
Nobody
that twice.
likes-
So I got a 5-year-old and a 1.5.
Oh, he's back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, hopefully it works this time.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Would you?
Okay.
I haven't even done anything yet, Gal.
It wasn't you.
It was. Try to fix it, woman.
I fixed it. You do.
She fixed it, Sam.
I mean, if you want it to be my stream, I'll stay on top.
Gal, that was a good thing to say. Gal, we have a virgin on the panel. You can't say stuff like that.
Are you still
Yell
there,
at me
Sam?
again. I'll have that roboted out on my end.
Oh, nothing. I just said I'll stay on top. It's fine.
And like I said, we have a virgin on the panel. We can't be saying stuff like that.
I didn't make it sexual. You did.
No.
Cries in ineffectuality.
Hey, and that's the other thing. Speaking of that, it's funny how fast you took off last night when Amira jumped onto the panel. You were gone.
I was? I literally I saw that you guys were live. I was tired, and I'm like, yeah, I'll help the algorithm. I hop on, post that comment, and then just dip.
No, that's not what you did. You were there, and then she came on, and then you were silent, just gone. The tumbleweeds just floating past.
I didn't even know Amir. When I was there, it was just you. It was just you, Sam, and Nomi.
Yeah, keep. Nobody believes you, kid.
I know no one believes me, but that's the truth.
We know you took off as soon as Amira came on because you have to explain why you haven't done what you were told to do.
She knows why. She absolutely knows why. It's because you motherfuckers keep explaining why dating women is a very bad idea.
Did we just lose Sam again?
Yeah. I was wondering if we would because it was weird that he was so quiet. And I was like, I feel like he maybe restarted again or
He got booted. He got booted.
He is cussing and yelling.
which,
throwing things.
Which, by the way, is funny when he does it.
It's true. Since Sam is gone, I'm gonna do a thing.
Go right ahead. It's not like he's here to stop you.
And
hey, Lou.
Share
I mean, when Sam gets back, I can at least let him know that Gal convinced me that all cats are bastards. So there's that for him to look forward to.
This looks like Shooter McGavin, first of all.
What looks like it?
This dude.
I don't
Looks
see
like, huh? Is it not sharing? Oh, I didn't pull it up.
Oh, you were just playing the role of Jizz Man.
This dude right here. He looks like Shooter McGavin. Do you even know who Shooter McGavin is, child?
No, the name is not familiar. Am I about to be yelled at or?
You've never seen Happy Gilmore?
Correct.
Lord, please help me not kill this child.
Oh, you should have heard what I said. What I said last night when we were signing off about Sam.
Am I in
You're always in danger.
You're always in danger, kid. But
I mean, more than normal.
I did you a solid, and I got Sam back for that short he posted on you a few days ago.
Which one? Oh, the stroke one.
Yep. He was signing off, and he was saying he did the whole Flaming Cobras things. He was like, it could be worse. You could be, it could be raining Flaming Cobras. And I was like, or you could do what Sam does, have butt sex with snakes.
Gross.
I'm surprised he let you live.
I think he was too shocked.
I'm realizing.
Sorry, I don't know if you know that, but that's one of Sam's hobbies.
I didn't need to know that. So
well, people in the chat know about it too. It's an Abyssal Musings exclusive.
I see. Gross.
Very.
Oh, look who's back. Shadow and Ralph Wiggle.
So, for the record, snakes don't have buttholes; they have cloacas. It's a multi-purpose hole.
But it opens up and crap comes out of it.
Yeah, so do babies.
That is a very dangerous. No, I don't like that.
It's an all-purpose hole.
The snake or the baby? The snake or the baby, Sam? You got to specify.
I am sufficiently disturbed.
Look what you did to Gal.
You guys sitting there talking shit the whole time I was gone, like I couldn't fucking hear you.
Oh,
I didn't realize you could.
Talking shit.
I knew you could hear me.
Don't put me in the same realm as these two.
Throw me in here. I'm making a meme.
That's messed up, Gal. And I care about you more than Sam does.
So Sam, this is Shooter McGavin. I mean,
Shoot
Rep
'em up, McGavin.
Ogles for
Yeah,
Tennessee.
he eats pieces of shit like he eats pieces of shit like Happy Gilmore for breakfast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the child on the bottom left of the screen right now, yeah, he hasn't seen that. He breaks my heart a little every day, Sam. You need
I'm
to
making
fix him.
something. I'm making.
You haven't seen
something
Happy
to get
Gilmore?
happy.
Yeah,
He
I
hasn't seen Happy Gilmore.
speaking on this article, I saw this. I mean, I think it's wishful thinking, man. That's not gonna fly.
Yeah. Why would
Shouldn't
it be?
out of Tentacle?
Yeah. I don't know. This is the thing you were mentioning earlier, right?
Yeah. I just wanted to bring it up because it was on like his official website thing.
Yeah. Okay.
And there were like a
Yeah.
bunch
So
of
Lepo,
articles.
I guess Lepo, you heard right. I was off base on that. So
I wasn't
I
doing
still think
it.
it's a
I
bad
told you
idea.
so. I was just
No. I was like Lepo had brought it up in chat earlier, and I was like, I don't know. It's the first I heard of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I was.
But
I
now
was
that
off
you're
base on
back,
that.
let me close this and I can share this. And that's not the one I wanted to share. There it is. I don't remember where you were, but I'm bringing it back up.
I do. So all right. I'll have it open.
Are you
on
going
this
to be
end
able to
too, so I
handle
can-
dark mode?
I'm not looking at your screen. I've got it on light mode on mine.
Well,
but
fine.
yeah, this
I'll
is.
stop sharing.
Oh well, if you want to be that way, fine. I do appreciate the help and the backup, but
I can bring it up, Sam. It's fine.
I don't know. It's too late now. I'm already doing it.
You're such a woman.
Mm.
God.
Yeah, says the woman.
That was the
Wouldn't
point of
she
it.
know best? Yeah, wouldn't she know? By being
Shadow,
around?
stop helping.
Yes. Yes, sir.
I'm perfectly fine with him helping.
I'm not.
Yeah, and this is a free.
It's okay.
This is
It's
hold
okay.
on, Sam. You said repeatedly that this is a free speech platform, and people can say whatever they want. And now you're telling the kid to shut up.
I've been telling the kid to shut up all day, man. Like, I don't know if you missed
He's
the
been telling
beginning
me
of
to
the
do
show,
it.
but
He's been doing it to me for the better part of like 2 years.
yeah.
God damn it, Sam. You and your internet.
He's gone again.
Hello.
I'm hoping his internet's good enough to check.
I don't think so.
Oh,
Hi.
welcome back.
Hi. Yeah. I may end up having to close out the computer and just jumping in on my fucking phone with the shit audio, but hopefully not. This is getting ridiculous. This has been really bad today. I think I'm being punished for having a couple of pretty decent streams the last couple of nights. So,
Aw. Poor Sam.
yeah, it is what it is. Anyhow, what? Yes? Huh?
Nothing.
I was just making sure I didn't miss something because it's been cutting out over here too now.
Yeah.
I was
No,
being sarcastic.
you
You said
didn't
it
miss
is what it
anything.
is. And I said, is it?
See, I only got it out of that. Like it cut out the is part. I was like, what? So, yeah, my phone audio was great last time. I mean, it's just one of those things that it's understandable. Like I'm audible. You know, it's just the quality is not my favorite.
Audible is a book
No.
reading service.
I've heard it's good.
Yeah, it's also a word that means you can hear it.
I don't think that you can be audible. Please don't.
Yes,
hurt me.
yes, you can. I'm audible right now. You're audible right now. We can hear each other. That's audible.
Audibly speaking, I think you're wrong.
Factually speaking, I know you are.
I'm actually not wrong. We're just talking about two different things. Which therefore means you're
Yeah.
wrong, but carrying on.
Yeah. This is why I'm not married anymore, folks. So
I
carrying
thought you
on.
were married because you decided to leave your wife for a boa constrictor.
Yeah, no, that's bullshit.
Is it though?
I
You
didn't
did
know you were
express
into that
that.
either.
You know what? I've been pretty transparent about this shit. Without going into like specific details that are nobody's business but mine. But
Right.
no, my wife left me for every swinging dick in a 30-mile radius who wasn't mine.
Oh.
So yeah. No, she split because she wanted to see what her options were, to see what other trouser snakes were out there. So yeah, that's not something that I really joke too much about. That said,
Davos.
Way to take
yes.
the wind out of the room.
A little sick of the snake joke.
Well, we know it's just we're just doing it for educational purposes at this point.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Yeah, it means exactly what I say it means.
I disagree.
Zillage, actually, yes, that's almost verbatim what she fucking said. I mean, it's not precisely what she said was, I feel like I've lost myself and I don't know who I am anymore.
Well, that's the typical modern woman excuse.
Yeah.
And then you see them on
wow.
TikToks. This is going back to what I said last night. You see them on TikTok crying and making themselves look like the victim, talking about they shouldn't have left their husbands or they shouldn't have left their boyfriends and they were sorry and they thought this new guy loved them. I mean, it's an epidemic.
Yeah, it's an ugly thing too. That people talk about what's destroying families. It's shit like that's doing it, and men like me who allow it to happen. So if we're being perfectly blunt and honest,
I don't think you allowed it to happen. It's not like you opened up the door and how did it become about your life? It's not like you just wrote her a pass and told her to go out there and do all that stuff. That's the other thing that regardless of whether you're the husband or wife in a relationship, at some point you got to stop blaming yourself for the actions of your spouse. There's better ways if your spouse is done with the relationship, there's better ways to do it. Be honest and at least leave with some dignity and some self-respect. But don't blame yourself. And I'm saying this as somebody who's, with my first wife and divorce, it was the same thing. Only the neighbors caught my wife.
yeah. Well, look, let me be frank about this, right? What I blame myself for are my own actions. I absolutely blame her for hers, right? The fact of the matter is that I'm going to take this off the screen for a minute. A marriage is something that both parties have to actually work at, right? We're all responsible for our parts. However you believe that a marriage works out. I know there's a lot of guys, people in chat who are, husband leads, woman follows, and I tend to be along those same lines. But if people aren't actually doing the roles that they signed up for, right, the whole thing falls apart. So yeah, there were some things that I fucked up on. I absolutely did, but I don't blame myself for everything that went wrong, because no, she's absolutely to blame for a great deal of things, and I do place that blame on her. But I also unlike there's a whole section of the internet that I know a lot of you guys are very familiar with the red pill movement and MGTOW shit and all that stuff. A lot of those guys tend to go so far as to blame all women for the actions of the one that hurt them, and I don't do that. Gal had nothing to do with the dissolution of my marriage. I don't blame her for it, and I'm not going to hate her for it. That's fucking retarded. She wasn't there. You know what I mean?
Gal's not the type that would do something like that anyway. So
right, I'm just using her as an example because the only other woman in the room is Shadow. So
fuck you.
Honestly, I think if Gal was in a relationship and she was tired of it, I think she would just sit down and just be honest with him and then go file first and then let them know. But I don't think she would degrade herself doing it.
Yeah. So yeah, just to be clear about that. And again, I'm not going to get into a lot of details because frankly, most of what happened is between me and my ex-wife. It's nobody else's business, but it essentially boiled down to she just didn't want to be married anymore. She wanted to go do whatever she wanted to do instead of being part of a family and part of a marriage. So that's pretty much it. Except that if she really didn't want to be part of a family, she didn't need to take the kids too, and she did. But it is what it is. So here we are. And in South Dakota, like I think somebody said in the chat, something about, did I have a choice? Yeah, Lepo asked if I had a choice. No, I didn't. I lived in South Dakota at the time, and South Dakota very strongly sides with mothers and female spouses, like something like 97.2% of the time. They almost never side with the husband or the father. They also have this real fun little twist on no fault divorce, where not only can either party just go and file for divorce, they don't actually have to inform the other spouse that it's gone through.
Nope.
Right. So she didn't have to tell me she was divorcing me. She could have just divorced me and I wouldn't have fucking known until tax time. You know. So yeah. It was it's pretty ugly there. Some of that shit. Yep, Aaron. Yep. They say it's to reduce instances of like domestic violence or whatever, reprisals or that kind of thing. And I think honestly it's just to make it easier for people to fucking destroy their families. You know? So not a topic that I thought we'd be talking about today, but you know, I did bring it up, so it is what it is.
Self-divorce. That's exactly what it is.
Mhm.
When I got a divorce, California was a bit different. California wants to get money out of you when you do your self-divorce. The court wanted to charge me $500 to put an ad in a paper saying so and so I'm getting a divorce. That was it. Like they literally wanted me to do that because I didn't know where she was at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a rough thing. I don't know. I think most men who are not monsters would do what they could to save their marriage, to work through the bad times, because that's part of the vows, right? You know, for better or worse, you know, through sickness and health and all that stuff. You know, that's, you know, there's going to be bad times as well as the good. And it's not all going to be highs and lows. A lot of it's going to be fucking mediocre day-to-day shit too, which is actually, I think, what drove her off, because it wasn't all highs and lows. She thrives on fucking conflict. Right. And she thrills at things that she finds exciting. It's the mediocre day-to-day, boring day in, day out, regular life stuff she couldn't fucking stand. You know. Whereas I was content as fuck, you know, I was happy. I loved my wife. I loved my kids. I was happy. And, you know, I didn't have like a lot of ambition, you know, to go out and, you know, make a bunch of money or stuff, but we were taken care of, you know, and that was enough for me. So it just is what it is.
Gal, you
remember one time
this whole thing. Or did we put her to sleep?
No. I think she's just been respectfully listening. Or, you know, we're off doing something else. I don't know. Maybe there's a cat involved. Just paying attention to that, which is fine. You know, gal's a cat lady. It is what it is. So, but no, I remember one time specifically, and I will talk about this a little bit. I was sitting at the kitchen table. Yes, gal, I said kitchen table because the table was in the fucking kitchen.
I don't think Gal's listening to that. I think Gal stepped away.
I'm just saying that because her and I have argued about the wording of that specific thing before. But you know, reading the local newspaper, right? It was just, you know, it was morning or whatever, and I'm just reading the newspaper as one does. And she sits down opposite me, and she looks at me and she goes, "Can I ask you a question?" I was like, "Yeah." You know, and she's like, "Are you happy?" And I was like, "What, you mean generally, or like right this second?" You know, I was like, "That's an odd question." I was like, "Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm pretty content with things, you know." But I mean, happy's not really something that happens with me anyway. So contentment is pretty much as good as it gets. I've got a defective serotonin production in my brain, so it does like happy's like really kind of a stranger to me. But content, I can live with content. Content is good, and I think that's where she made the decision, was during that conversation, without ever actually telling me until much later. So she's in the chat. It's a dining table. No, it would be if it was in a dining room. We didn't have a separate room for that. We ate in the kitchen, so it's a kitchen table.
Technically, Gal's correct.
Yeah, that's what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's a regional thing.
It could be a dining table in the kitchen that also is the kitchen table, depending on the usage of it.
Yep.
Well, we used it for everything, that you would use
Right.
a flat surface in the kitchen for.
Right,
So-
exactly. So if when it's just not in use and just sitting in the kitchen, it's the kitchen table. When you're dining at it, it's the dining table. When you're using
Right.
it to dispose of a body, it's the murder table.
This says something, I think, about those of us who live our lives on the internet, right? That this is the takeaway from that story. Is quibbling over the terminology of the specific table in question. The table's not important. It was just the location.
Well, for me personally, it's a coping mechanism because this is a very depressing story, and I'm sad that a friend had to go through it.
Yeah, don't be sad for me, man. It was years ago. And I'm not the only one, and there are many who have it much fucking worse than I do. So, Old Blindy is awesome. Thank you for backing me up on that. What's a dining table, though?
And you have lost him. He has betrayed you now because you betrayed him.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
also surprised you aren't yelling at me for what's in the SitV chat.
right. So, I don't know. It just is what it is. Things happen, and you have to move on. That's the only choice that we have in life when things go sideways, when they go wrong. You have exactly two choices. You can either die where you are, or you can push forward. That's it. And I don't mean like you die like your actual physical death, although some people do that. But I mean inside. You wither. You rot in the soul because you allow it to consume you, right? Or you don't let it consume you and you move forward. Those are your only options. So I'm choosing to do the latter. Fun fact, honestly, if I had stayed married, this show would probably not be a thing. I would not be on the internet because I wasn't at the time. Hell, I didn't even get much. I don't think I even watched YouTube until like probably 2 years after my divorce. So, yeah, thanks for being here, Gal. We appreciate it. I'll pimp your shit at the end here. So, and all that, but yeah, like things come up. I have no problem. Gal had to dip out, whatever. So, but yeah, it's
Yeah, take
it's
care,
just one of
Gal.
those things, man. You gotta. What's the phrase? Is you gotta play the hand that you're dealt.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You don't get other cards, so you just get the ones that you have. So you do the best you can with them, just like everybody else. So yeah, don't like I'm not. I don't know. I'm not honestly even sure why I'm talking about this. It's I think maybe somebody could learn something from it, but I'm not asking for like pity or sympathy or any of that shit. Because honestly, guys, for those of you out there listening and everybody and you guys here on the panel, this was a fair amount of time ago, over half a decade. Well, almost a whole decade. I'm okay. Moved past it since. So, yeah. So I appreciate the sentiment, kid, but yeah, it's unnecessary. And so just sometimes it's just what happens, man. You choose. It's always a risk. Like you and I have talked about this before, kid. It's choosing somebody to be with has always carried with it a certain amount of risk, right? And some of that is totally out of your control. Some of it is within your control, and some of it is within your partner's control, right? Most things are totally out of both of your control. You know, if a meteor hits the bus that one of you is traveling in, boom, that's it. Relationship over because that one's dead, right? And you can't do anything about that. So there's always an amount of risk. But still, even so, choose wisely as you can. You know, I didn't. And that's pretty much it. I married a woman who had 2 previous husbands, which should have been a clue. You know, and I should have known better because my own dad has had 5 wives. Like he's currently married to his 5th. My mother was like the 3rd. You know, so you know, yeah, it's just it is what it is. But yeah, just choose wisely when it comes time. You know, I know that certain cultures disparage the whole dating thing, right? But there is a reason we do that. We do it to make sure that we're compatible. We do it to make sure that we can live with each other, right? And I know that in other cultures, it's not a thing. You got arranged marriages, you got sight unseen kind of marriages and that sort of thing. And it can work in those circumstances, provided you are raised with the standards of that culture, right? That's, I think, the part that gets missing when people talk about, oh, we should do it like the Arabs do it. No, you shouldn't, because we're not like them culturally at all. Wouldn't work here, you know, because we're very different people, you know, just like I don't think the dating thing would work out so well for them. I think it would eat away at their culture and erode it. And you know, it's like you got to recognize that there's more at play here than just the way we do things. You know, but yeah, that's the reason that we do courtship. The reason we do dating is to find somebody who we can live with, who can love us, and build a life with that person. That's what that's for. Now, obviously, you know, that's kind of gone out the window in the last decade or so. But that's the purpose of it, and it's a necessary thing. You know, if you're choosing somebody, right? If you're just being arranged to be married to somebody, I suppose it doesn't really fucking matter. But if you're choosing someone, you should be sure of what you're choosing, or as sure as you possibly can be. You know, so, and that's I guess that's all I really have to say about that. I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on
it? I mean, you're entitled to the way you feel, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. As much as I enjoy joking on you and terrorizing you, this is one thing that, I mean, it's a serious matter, and yeah, people can learn a lot from this, man. I mean, you do the best you can, and I mean, hell, I never thought I'd find myself in that same situation. I just ended up with somebody that was, the red flags were there, and you know, I wanted to settle down. I wanted to be married, and I got what I asked for, you know. And in my heart, I knew better, so I blamed myself. You know, go back to me not telling you don't blame yourself. No, and me, I blame myself. But I mean, I got up out of it, and I am in a much better place now with a much better wife.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it takes us. Look, fact is like human beings fuck up all the time. You know, it's kind of written into our DNA. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
You know, and you know, like, yeah, the first marriage of yours might have been a mistake, but you're in a good place and you've chosen much more wisely now because of it, right?
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, those of you who are in California, if you had married the wrong person, boy, I mean, I was in LA. It took me and you know, I told you, it took me 4 years to get my divorce because of all the turmoil that was going on in LA Superior Court. It took the court 4 years to tell me that they had a different judge for every day of the week that the court was open, which was why my divorce documents kept getting kicked back, because every time it went in, it went to a completely different person, many of whom didn't really know what they were doing. 4 years.
Yeah. It was rough, man. Shadow, I hope you're you know,
Hope you're
take
listening.
anything you can from this.
Yes, I am. Fortunately, my despondence in potential success has already hit its rock bottom before this conversation. So
You're young
Can't
yet.
get
You
worse.
got plenty of time to fuck up even worse. Trust me.
And it doesn't let you off the hook off of what our lion has told you to do. Just choose the right
yes, no, I'm fully aware of this. I understand this. That's why I'm glad I got off easy after the last failure.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, don't despair yet. Like I said, you're very young. You don't know anything, honestly. You know, some of those things, even stuff that we're telling you now that we lived through, I hope you can take some value from that. But
I am.
I also know that there are some things you just have to live through on your own to fucking get it. Yeah.
Yes.
So hoping that I don't know. I'm just it's a rough thing. It's a rough thing, life. You know. We're all in, how did they put that? We're all in this together, and no one gets out of life alive.
Yeah.
We're all in this together, and it shows when we stand hand in hand, make our dreams go. I've never even seen that fucking movie.
Well, I was referring to a Guns N' Roses song, but sure.
I know you were, and then for whatever reason, I sang the High School Musical song. I'm
Zillage
sorry.
is saying stop, so
I became possessed. I apologize, Zillage. I will pay back. I'll pay you guys with either a Black Company stream or a Ponies stream, one of the two.
Or you could just stop doing it.
No,
there's that.
I refuse to adjust my behavior. I'll just recompense with either Black Company or Ponies.
Well, that's how we don't learn from our mistakes, folks, is by not adjusting to the roles as they come. So anyway, yeah, Zillage, we kind of take a weird little dark turn. I will take full responsibility for that. Hopefully there was some stuff in there that somebody can take anything from, something useful to them, because I don't know. We're all still just kind of flailing along in the void here, This is what it is. What is Thomas saying? Thomas, unfortunately for Shadow, he subscribes to all the hoe frightening ideologies. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
See, he knows full well, because he's heard me in Discord calls where I don't censor at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got an inkling as to how exactly that goes. An inkling.
A lot of German noises. A lot of German noises.
Are you in fact German? I thought you were like fucking Irish or Welsh or some shit.
I'm
French.
I'm a bastard mix of everything, but there is a little bit of Bavarian there. I'm not the one saying the German things. I'm just saying there's a lot of German things.
No, but you seem to be a pretty big fan of the culture and the language circa the early 20th century.
Honestly, like 12th century to 16th, and then and then definitely 20th century also has some good aesthetics. I'm just a general fan.
They
of
were
European
definitely
history.
fashion icons.
Unironically, they put the fashion in fascist.
Oh man,
I've even got the fucking haircut.
So apparently I have some Irish in my gene pool. You're what we call Black Irish. That's not true at all. Black Irish is a mix of Irish and Italian.
Yet he's a lightweight to alcohol because you don't got any Scot in ya. Did I crash?
No.
Okay. Because there was no response to me and my horrible Irish accent, so I thought I crashed.
I wanted to pretend I didn't hear it.
Nomi's
I'm sorry, Nomi's better at the accents. And I think Sam's gone.
Sam,
Or maybe
is
not.
gone. We have lost our Samael.
No.
We have lost the infamous. There's no one to stop me from reading the Eastern Front memoir of General Rouse.
Want to bet? Just saying. Yeah, no shit on me for a second. I was sitting here, I'm like talking to myself. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep talking until this either kicks me out or kicks back in. So
Gotcha.
So anyhow, getting back to I think the one thing I do kind of want to get through this before I honestly didn't expect the article to take up so much time, but here we are. So I don't know if this will play at all, but yeah, it's a lot. What I would recommend doing is going and finding Trump's first press conference where he was signing the executive orders. Very entertaining watch. It's the best. It's the very best. Everybody says that it's the best, except China. China doesn't think it's the best, but we all know it's tremendous. It's the best.
Absolutely.
I don't know
Even
how
the
much of
Russians
that you
says-
guys caught.
I caught all of it.
I call all of it.
Even the Russians say it's the
Okay.
best. And they hate the West.
Right. So the rumors, the whispers that we're pulling out of the IMF and the World Bank, it gets me turgid. I love it. I love that idea. Fuck those guys. We don't. Yeah. The World Bank has been nothing but a problem, I think. For speaking of world domination, those guys, right?
Didn't he put them on blast?
China.
Didn't Trump put them on blast a few days ago? I think he did an online meeting with the WEF, and he just put them all on blast. He put Bank of America on blast too.
That's actually what we're discussing here. This article was written by a guy at the BBC criticizing what Trump was saying, and Trump wasn't talking directly to the WEF. He was talking to his constituents, but it was broadcast, right? So the WEF beamed it into their conference hall.
LOL.
And we're all shocked by the things he said. Yeah. And that's what this is. This is a description of that happening. And there was like, oh, we can't let this happen. He's going to get in the way of they call themselves internationalists, which is,
honestly, I don't blame them for doing that. That was a good move. They're like, oh, wait a minute, he's on. We need to find out what he's saying. He might say something about us. So I don't blame him. Not that it's going to change anything. And what he did to Karen Bass was glorious. I pinched my nipples to that when he went over there and put that mayor on blast.
Or like
Yeah.
Andy said,
Yeah.
giving the pen
So-
to RFK. That was gangster.
Yeah.
That was fucking gangster.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about the documents that are to be declassified last night on Beelzebub. And I don't think they're going to tell us anything we don't already know. I think that anything that they don't want us to know won't actually be in those documents.
No, it'd be redacted.
I'm talking about reasons. I'm talking about who's really behind everything. They might come out and say, yeah, the CIA pulled the trigger. That's a possibility, sure. But they're not going to say
who
why.
ordered
They're not
the
going to say
CIA
who
to do
directed
it?
them to.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same reason why
Yeah.
they're not ever going to actually release the Epstein list. There's too much fucking value gained from holding that over certain people's
Yeah.
heads. It's like
Static made a good point last night.
What point?
Sorry. We don't want the list. We want the videos. We want evidence.
Yeah. And then following the evidence, we would like heads on spikes.
Yeah. I mean, I personally would not be one of the people who would be watching said evidence. I don't have the stomach for it. I would probably spiral into a depression so deep that I'd never crawl out again. That's not something I think I could handle. But yeah, somebody needs to get a hold of the Epstein tapes, because the Epstein tapes will prove who was actually there and who was doing what, and who needs to be punished for it.
Preferably someone who could make the road up to the Congress building look like the Appian Way after Spartacus's rebellion.
I was thinking more like the temple site dedicated to Huitzilopochtli in Tenochtitlan.
I mean, we could do both.
You know, just cut their fucking hearts out in front of everybody and show it to them while they're still beating.
Oh, well, see, that's the execution method, and then you just hang them up afterwards.
I'll be right back, guys.
We get both. We get Aztec and we get Roman. I like this. I like this plan, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just that's one way to do it. I mean, you could combine like the old and the new too. I mean, drug them up, take the heart out, show it to them, and all that. But meanwhile, you're also slow feeding them through Woody on low gear.
Wait a minute! I just realized something. I just realized something very fucking horrifying you could do. So we have the technology to simulate like organs to a primitive capacity, correct?
Sure.
So you just execute someone, and then you just display them, and then just like you rip out their organs the Aztec way, and then you just kind of like strap them to a machine and just let them hang there for people to gawk at. And then once you're tired of that, then you feed them to the wood chipper. Fucking hell, that's those are evil thoughts. I don't like those thoughts.
Or I mean, Lepo's got a point here. We could go Vlad the Impaler's way, because when he impaled people, he didn't impale them through the chest. He impaled them through the anus, usually not all the way, so that the weight of their body would slowly pull them down onto the stake over a period of days.
Yes. Was that vengeance for when they impaled him as a child?
No, that was just he was very inventive when it came to doing things to people. That's just the one that he was known for, because of forests and forests of stakes with bodies on them, kind of thing. But he did other things. He did other things.
Bad neighbors make great fences, and great fences make good neighbors.
Yes, that's one of my favorite fucking memes. Was the Vlad meme, Vlad the Impaler meme, where he's saying bad neighbors make great fences. So yeah, it was a warning to the Turks. It wasn't just a warning to the Turks; it was also a warning to the people of his own nation and other neighboring nations like Hungary. Like what he did with politicians in his country.
Funny things.
So Braveheart kind of parodied this a little bit, or not parodied, but stole this idea a little bit. But he invited them all to a meeting at a remote location, and when they all got inside, he barricaded the doors and he set the building on fire and watched them burn to death.
Tricksy.
So yeah. I mean, there's another story of him capturing. I know I've talked ad nauseum about this guy on this channel, guys, but I find the man endlessly fascinating. There was another period where he captured like 300 enemy soldiers. I don't remember where they were from. It might have been Hungarians this time instead of Turks, but and he told them, swear loyalty to me and I'll let you live. And of course they said, fuck no, right? Thinking they would be put to death like soldiers. Well, no, he killed the first one in line, and then he had the man boiled in oil. Or I might be getting this wrong. I think he had him boiled alive in oil in front of his friends, and then he forced the rest of them to eat him. And then he went to the next one, swear fealty to me and I'll let you live. And this goes on until there are like 3 soldiers out of 300 left, right? And they've been forced to eat the rest of their companions after watching them boil to death, right? And so they, of course, at this point, can't take it anymore. And they're like, yes, we swear fealty to you. And he had them impaled as traitors to their people.
Damn.
Yeah. Dude had a nasty sense of humor.
I mean, hey, waste not, want not.
Yeah, it's pretty. To be nominated to Department of War Crimes.
Hey. Achievements. wartime achievements. Okay, it's the Geneva Achievement List, not the Geneva. Fuck, I've joked about it so often. Like, what is the actual name of it?
The Geneva Convention.
Yeah, the suggestion, that thing. Yeah. That. It's a good it's a good read. A lot of ideas, a lot of possibilities.
Yeah. So I mean,
I concur. Make Sam in charge of it. Let Sam do all of it.
Look. How brave do you think the cartels would be sneaking fentanyl and people across our borders if there was a fence made of their own facing them?
Less willing to than they are right now, where they get help by our government.
Just saying, like we could build the wall and we could nail a bunch of fucking cartel criminals to it on the Mexico side and just kind of leave them there. We don't even have to kill them first. We can just nail them up there.
Yeah, strap a life support system to them.
Right. Well, not even that. I mean, they'll die eventually. It's fine, but not right away.
No.
And every time we capture a new one, they go up on the fucking wall.
Sam, you always leave one alive so they can tell the tale. Leave one alive every mile. That'll tell the tale.
I'm pretty sure all the guys that I've stapled to this wall who are screaming in agony and dying slowly are going to be pretty eloquent about it.
Yeah, but there are the cartels seem to be some pretty fucking stupid people. So maybe they'll need it like written in the Quran.
Be careful saying that.
Yeah, I thought about that after I already got it out. But honestly, it's if they can't tell that we're speaking in hypotheticals, then that's whatever. I'm not going to fucking qualify this anymore. So
see the thing is,
yes, it is.
See, the thing is, Shadow, we're not the ones saying it. You may have stepped away for whatever reasons, Shadow. But Sam and I didn't say anything bad. And by the way, Shadow is the one in the middle with Lawrence Knight because he's dyslexic. There we go. Bases are covered. It's all blamed on Larry.
Whatever.
Yeah. Anyhow, let's get through this thing. We keep meandering off topic, which is fine generally speaking, but this is kind of a long article, so. All right, and for those of you who are interested, if you are interested in the chat, let me know, and I'll post a link to the direct link to this so you can read it in the chat. So, but yeah, the Canadians are now briefing on their retaliatory tariffs in conversations with both the British Business Secretary and the EU Trade Minister Jonathan Reynolds and European Union Trade Chief, Maro Sefcovic. I detected a desire for calm dialogue. That's because they know they're going to lose. Both are making similar arguments to try to dissuade Trump from wider tariffs because it'll fuck their countries. Mr. Reynolds told me that as the U.S. does not have a goods trade deficit with the UK, there is no need for tariffs. Mr. Sefcovic said that the U.S. should really think about its services surplus too. But do they not consider threats to G7 and NATO allies, Canada and Denmark over Greenland, to be straightforwardly unacceptable and as absurd as France claiming back Louisiana?
No, they're not absurd.
France can try.
Exactly my point. Like, do you want to know why it's more absurd for France to make those France to make that demand of us than it is for us to make those demands of Canada and Denmark? We've got a longer, pointier, and better made saber than they do. We want a saber rattle, everyone pays attention. France wants to do it, it just brings all the Algerians and Nigerians and other Gerians to their women. Like, we are the thing that goes bump in the night. They're just a bunch of sad things not going bump in the night.
Well, and the thing about the Denmark thing, the Greenland thing, that's not a military thing, right? He's talking about buying Greenland from Denmark. Now, if Denmark refuses to sell, and they have every right not to. I don't know after that, but yeah, that he's talking about straight up purchasing Greenland, which I'm not necessarily in favor of because that means more tax dollars going towards fucking something else that I didn't fucking vote for. But It is what it is. And the same thing with any kind of military involvement. If we send military troops over there, we're still paying for that with our tax dollars. It's, I think that we should probably leave Greenland the fuck alone. I think that Canada needs to stay right the fuck where it is. I don't want to fucking annex you guys, no offense at all. And I don't know. Some of the things he said kind of sounded like jokes at the time, kind of not looking like jokes now. I think the Canada thing still is, but I'm pretty sure he was serious about Greenland, and he's definitely serious about the Panama Canal. So
yeah, unironically, we need the Panama Canal back. Like too many, like China's got too much fucking influence in it. Hell, ports in Brazil and Mexico are basically owned by the Chinese at this point. We need to start retaking our damn hemisphere. Monroe Doctrine, that shit.
Yeah. I think that in terms of serving the U.S., yeah, the Panama Canal is something that we should definitely hold on to. As far as like getting involved with fucking South America, though, I don't know about that.
Well, seeing as our primary adversary and direct threat to our hegemony, which if we lose hegemony and Russia, Iran, or China takes it from us, then they're going to be a threat to the American homeland. The fact that they have actual
if you say so.
Ground, I mean, there's no other contenders.
If they invaded us, there's no fucking way they'd win that fight, man. There's no way.
Who said invasion? Who said invasion? You don't need the biggest, baddest, scariest military to be the hegemon. It's not just what it's not.
That's the only way they'd ever be a real threat to us, man. Is if they fucking conquered the physical 48, the United States, and that's not going to happen. They can't do that.
Markets. If you control a market, if you control someone's market, you control them.
No.
Or
we got plenty of commies here trying to do that that are homegrown too. That we don't need China to worry about China.
Yep. And then, who do you think's funding them?
Soros.
Russia. Well, other than
Soros is funding
Russians, the Israelis, the Palestinians,
the WEF, who we're talking about. Yeah.
There's a long list of people, actually. Yeah. No.
Yes, we have many enemies, none of whom are going to be effective against us on their own.
Yes. At least. Which is why they're making us drink poison pills. Drink poison pills, consume poison pills, swallow poison pills.
Yeah. I think it's offense taken.
You understand the point.
Yeah, I do. I just disagree with who's the real enemy.
They're all enemies.
Same thing. You know what? I got our buddy Kerry also thinks that a specific power is behind everything too, and I disagree with him on that as well. It's like I disagree with those America First Nick Fuentes fuckwits about who they think is behind everything. So I don't think it's as simple as that. I think it's a conglomerate.
Yeah. To specify, Kerry thinks it's Belgium.
Yeah, that's not who he thinks it is at all.
Damn it, he lied to me.
Yeah, it's Iran. He thinks Iran is behind every bad thing.
Yes, no, I know, and I also understand why that's completely laughable, given how the fucking it's rumored that Mossad has agents in the fucking Iranian Quds forces. Like, how fucking pathetic do you need to be that your special forces are infiltrated by your primary adversary?
I mean, it's however you look at it, Iran's not the power that they once were. And I'm not mocking Kerry for thinking this because I get why he thinks this. I just disagree with him. And that's all I'm saying. And he disagrees with me, and it's fine.
Yeah. Kerry's great.
So
check out his channel.
Yeah. Definitely. Let's see, where were we at? Talking about absurd as France claiming back Louisiana. Like, first of all, France doesn't have the funds for that. Fuck them. It's that whole area has been developed that has increased in value since the French owned it. They just that's not going to happen. How do you stop someone when they look like you and talk like you? I mean, yeah, that's what it is. I don't know. The danger of one company country in charge without internal accountability. Yeah. I'm a little torn between like absolutely ruling my own country, and total anarchy, because I think both have points in their favor, but both are also extraordinarily detrimental. So I don't think there is a happy middle ground either. I don't think it exists. I don't think it can exist. I think pretty much long term, everybody fucked everywhere all the time. So,
well, that's humans. That's humans for you.
Yeah, I think that's just the nature of the universe. I don't even think it's unique to our species.
Unique to. I mean, it depends, I guess, on how you define long term. Because there are certain like termites. Termites don't really have a lot to worry. Termites don't have a lot to worry about over the course of like 100 years, but over 1 billion years,
unless something happens to their specific queen, then they do have something to worry about, because like ants, she's the only one that can make the babies.
Actually, no, with termites, this is the really fascinating thing about termites. So there are plenty of species of termites where what will actually happen is if the queen dies, they actually have dormant females who just work as normal parts of the population. And when the queen dies, the nearest one will activate, move to where the queen was, and then proceed to fill the role of the queen. Same thing with the males.
Well, a lot of ant species have kind of a similar setup where there are ants that can become queens, but they are not, in fact, queens until it becomes necessary to do so. It happens when the population gets so large it's unsustainable. They'll send one out to found a new colony somewhere else, and take some of that population with them. Or if the old queen dies, then one will step in and take their place. But until one of those events happens, they're generally not viable, egg making machines. And in a lot of cases, sometimes, like if the ant queen is disabled somehow, or if she's just outright flat out killed or something like that in a war with other ant colonies, or she gets poisoned, or for whatever reason the ant queen's no longer there, in a lot of cases the ant colony will just go on as before with no replacement ant queen, and they will eventually just die out because there's no replacements.
Yeah, but not termites. They're hardy.
Which is kind of what we're seeing with the dating scene in this country, where people are just they're not making babies, right? That's where the population decline is a bad thing. Eventually we are going to die out, but when I talk long term, kid, I'm thinking universal entropy, right? I'm thinking heat death of the universe. So when I say long term, everything trends towards entropy. There are no exceptions to this. Some of us are just going to end up there sooner than others is all.
Yeah.
So anyhow, that side, that was a bit of a wild tangent there.
That was a fun tangent. I like those tangents.
All right. So it says, this might make some sense. Okay. Where was I at? Them trying to buy back Louisiana, which was just a metaphor for us buying Greenland. Diplomats are making lists of U.S. goods that Europe can now purchase to demonstrate wins, quote unquote, for Trump or for President Trump, from arms to gas to the magnets and wind turbines. It might make some sense for the rest of the G7 to work in unison on retaliation against the tariffs, in order to concentrate the minds of Congress and the competing factions inside the court of Trump. However, there is no sign of that happening. They're just stunned and not doing anything. It's so fucking funny.
Like deers watching a car.
I mean, essentially, yeah. It's a pretty apt metaphor, I think. The U.S. the back of their brain, their animal brain is screaming, "Get the fuck out of the way!" But they're just mesmerized by the lights. You know what I'm saying? The U.S. tech supremacy story epitomized by the broligarchy. That's a new term. I'm going to use that term. I like that term. Yes, the broligarchy.
I hate this term. I don't like this term.
It's hilarious, including Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, Meta boss Mark Zuckerberg, Apple leader Tim Cook, and Google chief Sundar Pichai had top seats at the inauguration this week. None of them are good people, by the way. None of them are on our side. They are only going, these are all people who can see which way the wind is blowing. That's all this is.
Yes.
Right.
I could tell by the name Pichar that we shouldn't be trusting him.
Well, first of all, that doesn't mean anything. I know you think it does, but it doesn't. You know,
It absolutely means something.
yeah, it means that that's his name. That's about it.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is if ice cream,
I know what you're gonna say.
If ice cream purchases and shark attacks go up at the same time, clearly shark attacks drive ice cream sales.
Yeah, except that that's a completely bullshit metric.
Correlation equals causation, Sam. I don't know what to tell you.
It really doesn't. While the U.S. is streets ahead of Europe, it's standing against China is more uncertain. One of the talks of Davos was DeepSeek's high-performing, much cheaper AI model made in China, predicting that the tech pros would be tearing strips out of each other in the court of Trump began to come true with hours rather than months. Meanwhile, while most, though not all, here in Davos sounded rather seduced by Trump's tech-fueled optimism, some in Europe also see a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to attract top researchers who may be rather less than enamored with the direction of U.S. politics. It was openly suggested by the European Central Bank chief Christine Lagarde. Others sought solace in the fact Europe no longer has to face Biden's massive green subsidies, creating a more level playing field again in Europe for Europe. See, it's not all bad, for other countries. President Trump is changing the terms of world trade. The response of the rest of the world to this is as important as what the Trump administration itself decides, and that's, I believe, the end of the article. Yeah, if you guys are interested, I'll pop the link here. Go through it too. Maybe you have some other take on it. Maybe just want to read over what I just said because we did tangent a lot. So there's that.
Yep. My fault. I take full credit.
Yeah,
I apologize.
That's really the big thing. That is really the big thing for today. There were some other things going on. There was obviously all the executive orders. The fact that the Trump administration classified the Mexican fucking cartels as terrorist organizations. Man, it gave me the chills in such a good way.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, speaking of, it's unrelated, but did you hear about what the state of Idaho is doing? I'm sure Shadow.
Besides potatoes?
No.
I feel like I have. I
know you have, Shadow. I'm sure because this is something that would attract your attention.
Mentioning Idaho is okay. I know that this is something I should know, but at the same time, it's I can't can't pull it up.
You guys know who you've heard of a little known historical figure named Rasputin, correct?
Oh yeah,
Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. No, why?
So, the state of Idaho officials, they are moving to make their primary method of execution death by firing squad. You want to know why?
Because it works.
Yes, it works. It works. But here's why it works. It works because they tried to kill this one man by lethal injection 8 times, and they couldn't kill him. 8 times they tried to kill this man.
Yeah, they're not supposed to go. They're not supposed to go 8 times. It's if you survive 3 fucking attempts, you're like that's it. Generally speaking, by law in a lot of places. I don't know if Idaho is different in that respect, but they shouldn't have gone 8 times.
What did this guy do? Call it they, them, he, her, or she, her?
Seeing as how they're trying to kill him, I'm guessing he murdered someone. Now there's a couple of articles on this one. This one is a bit more general, but this guy in particular, they were trying to kill him and they couldn't. So this article is just a bit more. It's a bit more just general than the initial one. that I read. But yeah, Ronnie Lee Gardner, this guy they 8 times, man, and this guy he just would not die. 70. Wait, okay, Idaho,
Mhm. Yeah, it does happen from
including.
time to time.
Okay, so no, that's not the guy. It's Thomas Eugene Creech, 73-year-old man convicted of 5 murders.
I'm sure it was all self-defense.
Yeah, and it even says that apparently it's a bigger deal. And I didn't even know this part. Some states have started refurbishing electric chairs as backup options when lethal drugs are not available. So I'm wondering if death by lethal injection, because it's become widely the most humane way of killing someone, even though there's reports of it not always working, like them trying to put people asleep while they inject them with the drug that kills them. Only there's been instances where the inmate did not die and felt everything. It was they was burning them and all kinds of other stuff. But I'm willing to bet this is happening in a lot of states where they were getting a lot of pushback in lethal injection in general, and certain people were taking steps to make sure that the drugs weren't available for them to follow through with it because they don't believe it.
Yeah. See, my question is, and this is always a question that I think should come up whenever we're talking about the death penalty. Why do we give a fuck if someone we're killing with the death penalty dies humanely or not? Like, we've gotten to the point where we're not going to, as a liberal society, we won't even stick you in a hole and forget about you till you die of natural causes. We're actively ending your life. Why the fuck should it be humane? He's an animal. And I know Sam's going to say 8th Amendment. I can feel Sam saying the 8th Amendment. I don't care that Sam's going to say the 8th Amendment. Cap him in the back of the head with a 9 mil.
If you can get rid of any of the fucking any of the Bill of Rights, any of the first 10, right? If you can just blatantly ignore any one of them, you can ignore all of them. That includes the first and the second, which I know you love so much. So you don't get to pick and fucking choose, dude. The 8th Amendment is a part of the Constitution for a good goddamn reason. No cruel and unusual punishment, which is part of why they should not have tried to kill this guy 8 fucking times. If he survives a 3rd attempt, like
let him go.
Obviously you don't let him out. He's a killer, but like at that point, it's just like, okay, if we keep doing this, it's just cruel at this point.
Hey, Blindy. I'm not. You know what? I'm not even going to dignify this with my attention.
You just did, though.
Yeah,
you just gave it your attention.
I'm not sure why you brought it
You
up.
drew attention to it.
No. I was first. It's a public comment. Everybody can see it. So, but I'm not going to add to it. And this one, you talking about Benedict Aaron?
Nah, it's
anyway.
Fine.
But no. Going back to what you're saying. Now, here's the thing, man. So this is the guy. The Idaho Department of Corrections has faced challenges with execution methods, including the use of largely untested techniques. In February 2024, Thomas Eugene Creech, a 73-year-old man convicted of 5 murders, was set to be executed by lethal injection. However, after 8 attempts, medical professionals were unable to locate a suitable vein for the procedure. Creech remains alive and in custody, with his lawyers now appealing his case to the federal court system, as reported by Kate. They're gonna find they're trying to fill that man with lead. I'm sure they're gonna fight that, every way, because it's the pride of Idaho also, and somebody's gonna fight for legislation, like you said, Sam. They're gonna say if you survive it once, then they shouldn't be able to try again.
Yeah, I think 3 attempts is fair, but I think after that, then it starts getting fucking like. Can you imagine having to, like, regardless of what your crime may have been, right? Forget the crime for a second. Put yourself in this dude's shoes. Can you imagine having to walk down to that chamber 8 fucking times?
The elevator music alone would have been a hate crime.
Well, to my knowledge, there's no elevator music in the Green Mile, but.
Well, I mean, like when you're taking the elevator to get there, and then you got to walk, like the elevator you got to take to get there. Like that would suck.
Right. So yeah, you're not going to come out of 8 fucking attempts on your life, deliberate attempts by the state, okay in the head. I mean, I'm not saying this guy was in the first place. He's obviously a convicted murderer, but what happens? What happens to you after that? What happens to you mentally? Like I think that's torture enough. I think, you know, obviously, again, like I said, don't let him back out into society because he's, you know, a killer, you know, and by the look on his face in that one photo, an unrepentant one at that. But I'm just,
Well, that's not the 73-year-old. This is Ronnie Lee Gardner. No, they got him good. Ronnie Lee Gardner, 49, was strapped to a chair and shot to death in 2010. At that time, Utah did it. Allowed death row inmates to choose between lethal injection and the firing squad. So he chose to be blasted in the chair. So he did.
I mean, you know, rock and roll, right? Ride that lightning.
He did.
You know, but yeah, I don't know though that I don't see the firing squad as particularly barbaric. I think that it probably got phased out because bullets are expensive. You know,
but bullets are expensive. And what if he
You know,
survives that? Then what?
well, I mean, he shouldn't. But I mean, like the way the firing squads used to work was you had 4 to 6 dudes, right? Each of them had a rifle. 5 of those rifles typically were loaded with blanks, and only one of them had an actual bullet in it. And they blindfold the guy, put him up against the wall, or tie him to a stick or whatever. Everybody fires at the same time, so that the family doesn't know who to blame for the actual shot, right? For the actual shot that kills the guy. But you're talking about expert marksmen too. They're not going to miss his heart.
Well, let me tell you something, and maybe it's different. I don't know based off the gun that you're using, but I know when I was in the military, I used live rounds and blanks, and I could tell the difference.
Right. The shooters would know the difference, but the families of the person being executed wouldn't. And that's the key. It's the same reason that executioners used to wear black masks in the Middle Ages. It's to protect their families from reprisal. You know, so yeah. But as far as like just, you know, a single shot to the heart, right? Yeah, it might not be like a boom, immediate death. Sometimes it takes a second for it to, you know, hit the system or whatever. But there are worse ways to go. I don't see that as particularly inhumane. It's also very quick, and in a lot of cases, it's a lot cleaner than anything like beheading or hanging.
Yeah. Wait, so what would be inhumane about like kneeling them down and then putting it in the back of the head? Like you have the hood on so the family doesn't see it, and then just instant brain death if you're using a big enough round.
We don't even need a particularly large round for that, but
I mean,
I don't know.
Just to be sure,
I think that a man should be able to die, like just in terms of right. Well, I've always felt that if you're gonna do something like that, you should do it to their face, and they should be able to stand. Right? A man should be able to die on his feet, whatever his circumstance that brought him to that point.
I guess,
you know, the blindfold when they blindfolded these guys, it was back in the day when they blindfolded these guys, they didn't force them to wear the blindfold. They offered it to them because some guys don't want to see it coming. Right. That's all that ever was. Some guys did. You know, they were given the right to a cigarette. They were given the right to their last words, and they were given the right to choose whether or not they saw it coming. Right. But they were also allowed to die on their feet. And I think that I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a little old school in terms of certain, I guess, codes. But I think a man should be able to die on his feet. He should be able to die facing his executioner.
I mean, men go to prison, dogs get put down. That's but
that's just me.
Like if you're at the point where in a liberal society you are, and philosophical liberal, not political liberal for people who don't know what I'm talking about. If you're at the point where we as a liberal society have decided we're removing you, yep, Sam was right about the respect the Eighth Amendment part, but like you're a total fucking scumbag and don't deserve the dignity of a man's death. Like if you're someone who killed 20 children because it got your willy off emptying a 240 Bravo into like a school, you don't deserve to stand as you die. Like kneeling like a dog is perfectly within what you deserve. At least by my stance.
Who is to decide that?
Well, we see. Well, if we're going off the religious angle, we're not supposed to be executing people. And if we go off the state angle, that comes down to what level of governing you're using. If you're an autarky, the autarch decides. If you're a democracy, the the not the citizen franchise. That is the wrong fucking
That's
word.
that's
The
my
electorate
point.
decide.
It's all subjective. It's all
Yeah.
subjective. Like who decides who's worthy to stand on their feet and who must be put down like a dog in the street. So like, you know, who decides how many people get executed? Who decides what crimes you're executed for? Like it's all arbitrary.
Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, me personally, if I was facing a firing squad, I would not want to be blindfolded because, especially if I was innocent,
Mhm.
because I would want to look those guys in the eye, because so that they can see I should be able to see the face of my killers, and they should be able to see my face and let it haunt them. Also, I want to make
I
sure that
agree.
they don't try to catch me in the bridge of the nose because I've got this hood over my head.
Right. I agree. And that's the thing is, regardless of what the crime is, Shadow, regardless of what you think the person being executed deserves, right? It's not just about them either, right? Taking a life, regardless of whose life or why, should never be easy, right? You should look them in the eye. You should remember their face. It should haunt you. Otherwise, life is too cheap and nothing matters.
Yeah, I see the point.
You know, it's the same reason I made this argument on Beelzebub a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about the reason I think that where France went wrong was with the invention of the guillotine. And then I know what you're thinking is like, no, well, the guillotine was clean, it was quick, it was easy, and all that stuff. And yes, that's all true. But the problem is it made things too easy.
Yeah, it made it impersonal.
Right.
It was the industrial killing.
Yeah, and to kind of cement my point, as I talked about the history of executions in the United States, like for a long time, we just hanged people, right? Hanging people is fucking hard. It's messy, and it goes really wrong sometimes if you don't have a fucking expert doing it, right? And even they fuck up sometimes, and it's not an easy way to go. It's certainly not an easy way to take somebody out, right?
Yeah.
We never had a period of time where we hanged 100,000 people in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
France
Do you
did.
know that
the guillotine.
the last hanging in the entire country happened in Texas, and the reason why they
It was in the
stopped
70s,
doing
wasn't it?
Yeah, the reason why they stopped is because the man that they hanged, the witnesses, which is the family of the people he murdered, they were down at the bottom floor, and they were they could watch it on the screen or whatnot. And then there's another room above him where they would hang him. Well, what ended up happening is he went through the first floor down to where they were, down to where the witnesses were. There was no window or anything separating them, and his head snapped completely off, and blood exploded all over them.
Damn.
Yeah. It's because they fucked up.
Yep.
That was a big fucky wucky.
And I mean, yeah, and if it can go bad the other way too. What if the neck doesn't break? It can take like fucking 6 hours to strangle to death.
Yeah, just sitting there wriggling, unless you. Oh, hold on. I remember I was reading. I think it was not Grimblades. It was it was a Warhammer fantasy novel, and they have someone get executed by hanging, and it doesn't work. So what they do is they just have guys like just start like grabbing onto him and hanging onto him until his neck snaps. Was that a thing that would happen?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it probably has. I haven't heard of it being like a widespread thing or anything like that. Most of the time, people would just let them hang until they died.
Gotcha.
Kind of thing. But and sometimes the neck did break, but it didn't kill them.
Yeah.
But if you're talking like Old West days, right? There's no remedy for that. There's no getting better from a broken neck in those days.
Yeah.
And that's what Aaron Laura is saying here. This is why drones, the bad kind, are dangerous. The distance makes it easier, and the person pushing the buttons doesn't have to think about it. That's exactly what I'm saying. It should be personal. The more impersonal that we make, the taking of any life, again, for any reason, doesn't matter. Like if you're executing somebody, it does not matter about that person, about what they did, or about what they want. Right. What matters is on the part of the executioner. Right. It should be personal. It shouldn't be easy. Because I think you find an equally fast decline there as you do societally. I mean, in a society that refuses to take out its trash whatsoever.
Mhm.
You know, there are some things people should be put down for. I'm just not 100% convinced it should be the state doing it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, if you don't have the mediator and just let everyone do it on their own, like will, you get the Wild West on its worst days, where a simple accusation gets a man hanged.
There was an anime I saw a clip from a while back in a town where like killing was not illegal, right? And everybody was armed to the fucking teeth and everybody got along and there was virtually no crime whatsoever. But when this one dude chased this other kid into the town, right? And he was hunting him down and he was going to beat him and torture him and kill him and do all kinds of horrible shit to him, probably rape him. I don't know. It was animated. You know how it goes. And
children's content.
Everybody in town pulled up on this motherfucker who came after this guy. Right? And they just fucking blew him away in the street and went about their lives. Nothing. And that was it. That was it. There were no reprisals. There was no like outbreak of violence or destabilization of the local economy. None of that stuff happened because everybody was living in what we call an armed society, which, as you know, is a very polite society. But when somebody fucking steps out of line, they just remove the threat and go about their day.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
that's ideal. That's ideal. No,
Right.
No, of course it doesn't.
Yeah, well,
none of it is authoritarianism or anarchy, you know, like if in any way.
I was going to say it doesn't work once you get to a certain scale. Like if we're talking like a small like if we're talking
right,
like
this was just
even
a town.
Yeah, like even if you have like 1,000 people in the same like kind of town city type thing, that's a relatively homogenous culture that'll understand the rules. Once you start getting into multiple cities, like kingdom and then nation state level stuff, you can't because that's just too many people. That's why you go from having like the dads hanging out to the big man to the king.
Yeah, that brings up why states rights and state self-governance is important.
Yeah. Well, I was speaking to nation states, not states.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But in this country, that's why the federal government cannot be the be all and end all of all governance in this country. It has to come down to state and local, because otherwise you end up with that same problem. If federal government's making blanket judgments across the board for fucking almost 400 million fucking people, across 50 states and however many territories or whatever, somebody's going to get squashed. Somebody's going to get lost in the shuffle, right? They need to be ruled locally first, and then municipally, regionally, state. And all of the states come together and talk about stuff that they all want to happen, which is where you get federal government. But that's as far as federal government needs to even exist, as far as I'm concerned, right? Because you're right. Once you get to a certain size, it becomes impossible to adhere to almost any standard, almost any standard. Like even if the bad guys from World War II were successful in conquering the world, right? They would not have been able to hold on to the whole world, not forever.
Yeah. And even if they did get rid of everyone, like even if they somehow got like a rate of like 2 a minute for every single race up until they killed everyone but their genetic purity, ethnicity is not the determinant of national violence. Power is the determinant of national violence. You would always have some Oberkernal deciding, I want to run my own country and rising up, or some region feeling like they pay a little bit too much tax for what they're getting out of it, and they would rise up because they are not deserving of the bullshit they're having to put up with. Humans will always find a reason to kill each other once you get to a certain scale.
I mean, humans are going to find a reason to kill each other at any scale, man.
Yeah, that scale is two people. That scale is two people.
That scale is occasionally just the one.
I'm not including mental health. I'm speaking to coming up with reasons.
I'm not either. I don't think it's always a case of mental health. Sometimes I think it's just a thing that happens, but it does happen. And still, and even if it is mental health, that's still a reason, right?
Valid.
It's not a good one, but it's still a reason.
Once again, Sam locks me in a corner and beats me.
So yeah, it's human beings. Human beings tend towards self-destruction. It's just a fact.
Yes.
You know, I'd say that all particles tend towards self-destruction on a certain level, but yeah, human beings as a species, we tend towards self-destruction, and when we're not trying to destroy specifically our own specific unit, we will lash out at the world around us. It's part of what we are, you know. So I don't think there is a long-term solution for governance. I don't think there is a long-term solution for you know, any kind. I mean, it's kind of amazing that we've lasted fucking as long as we have as a species. If we're being honest. Like, we never should have made it past the Dark Ages. So many goddamn people dropped dead of the rat-borne Black Plague. Like, that should have been it. You know,
but before even that, those motherfucking savage tribal horse bastards should have done it all in.
Yeah, I mean, the cons killed so many fucking people that there should not have been any recovery. Like, when they talk about dropping below sustainability levels, like, we've been there a couple of times, which is one of the reasons that I don't know. It's strange, but
hold on. Genghis Khan did his part to help repopulation.
He went overboard, though.
Yes, but he also balanced that with a lot of bodies.
Right, exactly. He made a lot. Yeah, exactly. He boned a lot of people to death, and then he boned a lot of people to life.
Yep.
Sometimes at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, here's the thing. Here's a fun fact for you. He killed so many fucking people that the sheer amount of like greenhouse gases generated by all those bodies did in fact alter the environment of the Earth.
Damn.
Which I think Greta Thunberg should probably look into and research a little bit before she starts talking about reducing Earth population. Just saying, you really want to avoid fucking greenhouse gases? Maybe don't start dropping bodies.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah. Genghis Khan changed the fucking climate because he killed so many people. He killed something like a third of the known world's population. It's pretty ridiculous.
Bro, the craziest thing about Genghis Khan is the fact that he is one of, I think, like 5 or 6 people that you can argue, had a wolf just killed him when he was a kid, human history would not have gone the way it did. Like, he is, it is insane what that meant. What that random fucking sheep herder in the middle of Mongolia managed to do. Like, hold on, where is it?
Well, he forged an empire with a fucking stick.
This read
and
like a well-written Gary Stu fanfic. This motherfucker was God's self-insert for like 80 years.
Yeah, arguably the most influential human to have ever lived. You know, in terms of practical application, yeah.
See, I've got a different book for that. Actually, I've got a different book for that.
Yeah, that's like I said, arguably. First of all.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm pushing back on that. He's the second most important. But the big guy, the Mega Man.
I didn't say, I'm just saying, arguably, in terms of practical relevance, the most. I mean, you could arguably say that somebody who had a massive amount of influence was Hannibal when he decided not to destroy the city-state of Rome before it became an empire.
Yeah, he did, but that didn't shape world history in the same extent that Genghis Khan.
I think it did, because if he had crushed Rome, that would have altered things around Jesus' time too, when Rome was at real power.
Let me think. I mean, the Romans are a hardy people. They might have recovered. We won't know.
And not if Hannibal was thorough, they wouldn't have.
Yeah, but why would Hannibal be thorough? He was a merchant, not a genocidal madman. I'm speaking to
which is why he fucked up. He lost his balls and he took his elephants and went fucking home.
No.
Oh, he absolutely did. He did not have the follow through.
No.
He got right up to the gates of Rome, and he's like, you know what? I think maybe we've spilled enough blood. You're right there, dude. The goal is in sight. Just fucking punt it in.
Listen, he got to Rome, and then he recognized, hold on, I could destroy this city, but then a bunch of losers in 2025 wouldn't have guys like Caesar, Sulla, Marius, Pompey to look up to and wish they were them. So I'm just going to go home.
No, that's not why he did it. He did it because he was a remorseful little bitch who started a fight he couldn't finish.
Yeah, exactly. He was remorseful. He recognized that someone like me wouldn't have anyone to look up to.
I'm just saying, if he were going to, dude, he fought them from fucking North Africa all the way to the gates of Rome itself, right? Yeah. And he crushed them the entire way. And the reason he did that was because he saw what they were going to become. He knew what they were going to become, how they would change the world, and he didn't like it. And I kind of agree with them. I think that I would like to see a world where Rome never rose to power. See what happened.
Aghast.
You
I'm
know,
horrified by that.
I think Hannibal got his balls chopped off somewhere in that campaign and decided, oh well, I'm right here and I could finish the job in like an hour, but I'm gonna go back. I guess this has been enough, right? And this, by the way, is why there aren't Celts covering all of Europe and most of North Africa, because the Romans didn't forget that shit, or who was working for Hannibal at the time. That's why they pushed them north of Hadrian's Wall, where they failed to exterminate them, but they did manage to wipe them out everywhere else they were. That was revenge 1,000 years later.
Speaking of revenge, Sam, check Twitter.
What the fuck's on Twitter? I don't know. I don't pay attention to like
Hold on.
Twitter.
No, I'm sending it right now. There you go. It won't autoplay, so you'll need to like click the link, but yeah, it works.
No, I'm not doing that. No. And fuck you. And no.
No, thank you. I'm not into giant scary space tentacles that are double my age, but thank you. Thank you for the flattering remark.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not going to happen. We're not doing that. So anyway, hi JB, welcome to the show. we're probably going to like wrap up here soon, but
oh, poor JB.
JB always comes almost towards the end.
Oh, poor JB. Sad bit, JB.
That's all right. With rare
not the other
exception,
way
I
around.
don't take any of these down. So.
No.
Yeah. Oh, they do love tentacles in Japan. It's a little overwhelming actually. I try to stay away from them.
Yeah. So do the Koreans, but for very different reasons. Sam doesn't like Korean women. They scare him.
I actually do like Korean women. I just like them a lot less. Thanks, Amira, for that.
Never mind. Sam has a vor fetish. Good to know.
My ex is Korean.
No, that has nothing to do with vor fetish. I just happen to think that Koreans of all of the various Asian phenotypes tend to be among the prettiest. And yes, I'm aware that a lot of them are using Scotch tape. If you're out there, Suka, I know they're using Scotch tape. It's fine. It's whatever.
I mean, Korean women seem to have a fixation with consuming live tentacled organisms, and you are a live tentacled organism.
Yeah, you're a snack, Sam, and not the way you want.
And you've expressed.
They also have a tendency towards fucking K-pop, which I also despise. That doesn't mean I think they're less pretty just because they're into shit that I'm not.
There you had it, everyone. Sam has a vor fetish.
That's not true. I like women. This is something that your whole generation does this whole zero-sum bullshit with every fucking statement that is completely inaccurate. Like you can't. That's super fucking reductionist, and it's retarded.
Yes, that's why I play into it. They all do it seriously. I do it just to piss people off.
Yeah, well, I think they're all doing it to piss me off too. So
no, they're doing it because they're retarded. They do it because they're retarded. I do it because it's funny.
Yeah. Did you find tape girls in Taiwan or boys?
I don't know what that means, and no, blindly, I did not find. I found there were plenty of feminine men, but none of them were trying to be women. They were just weak. Hey, Gunsmoke.
Fair enough.
No, the number of motherfuckers who looked like they could have been part of a K-pop band was hilariously depressing for the Taiwanese people. Then you would see like the when I went to the Sam's favorite place in the world, the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial. The MPs were actual fucking hard ass looking dudes. Like
I don't even know what that fucking means, dude. Try that again in English.
Chiang Kai-shek, the leader of the Kuomintang.
Yeah.
Fuck communism.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take your word for it. I don't speak commie, dude.
Leader of the Nationalist Party of China. The guys who fought the communists while also fighting the Japanese on a two-front war.
Right. Yeah, those guys, the names are unimportant. They're just so goddamn many of them.
Sam is depressing me that he doesn't know the name of one of he wasn't successful, but he was one of the greatest fighters of communism. He didn't succeed, sadly, because the Japanese beat him for the commies. But Chiang Kai-shek did some great things.
Okay. I feel like I need to reiterate to you my as far as like Chinese history goes, right? And I'm including Taiwan in this because there is a history between Taiwan and China. However you feel about it. I personally recognize Taiwan as a separate country, by the way, but there is a history there. The problem is that the history is filled with 5,000 years of fucking rice paddies and not much else.
Yeah.
All the exciting shit happened at the beginning of the empire and the end of it.
No, there are some moments throughout where one random dude decides to start a civil war, and you see World War I level body counts of peasants just throwing themselves on the spear lines, followed by more just rice.
You're talking about drops in the bucket of history, dude.
Yeah, no,
drops in the bucket of history. And I'm not belittling people's deaths. I'm just saying that these events were so far apart and so rare in China because Chinese people tend to be very content to live under whatever fucking breakneck ruler they've got. Right.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if it's an emperor or if it's the CCP or if it's whatever. They don't care. Nothing changes for the average Chinese peasant or has for 5,000 fucking years. Not since they built the wall to keep the Mongols out.
Yeah, I wrote a paper on it. It was great. Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism are the reasons why the Chinese are so content and non-violent to themselves. How do you divide a kingdom?
But
I feel like I know.
It makes for a boring read though. Just in Vlad the Impaler's lifetime alone, that part of like fucking Eastern Europe was a wild time, right? There's all kinds of shit to talk about.
Well, Europe in general, because
he died in 1462.
Yeah, because wasn't it like Joan of Arc, Christopher Columbus, Vlad the Impaler, and then a third name I'm blanking on, but like or a fourth name
Ivan the Terrible
was also important. Might have been him. I don't know. It was like a meme worth. It was like a meme like there are crazy times, and then it's like a list of 4 of the biggest names in European history, all lived within like a
world history, arguably. Yeah.
I'm being nice. I'm being nice to Lepo's people, to the Canadians. Insane.
Right. The 15th century was a fucking crazy century, right? There was a lot of shit going on. The 15th century in China, not so much.
Wait,
the 15th century in China looked pretty much like the 3rd century in China, or however far back you want to go.
I thought he was French.
Who now? What?
Lepo. I didn't know Lepo was Canadian.
He's French.
Yeah,
Canadian.
he's Canadian. He's Quebec, but he's Quebecois. But yeah.
Well, I figured by the name, I was like, okay, he's got to be French Canadian. Interesting.
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah. Yeah. We're just sort of like skipping around and making fun of each other's.
Just random bets.
Yeah.
So, Quebec.
Yeah. Appreciate you coming by, Cal. Good to see you, man. Quebecer, yeah.
Quebecer. That feels like a slur. I feel like that's a slur.
Yeah. I feel like it's the anglicized version of Quebecois.
Quebecer Canuck. That feels like an appropriate slur for what Lepo is. Quebecer Canuck.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just rule Britannia. Britain rules the ways. Well, it did once. It doesn't anymore. That's us now.
Across the 7 seas.
Yeah. So we're probably going to wrap this up because otherwise Shadow and I are going to keep bickering about what actually mattered in history and what didn't. So,
I mean, hey, I think we can both agree that when that guy Woden made a religion about himself, pretty damn cool shit happened because of that.
Cool shit happened. Some really awful shit happened too.
Details. Listen, if you're,
I think the blood eagle is a pretty big fucking detail.
Listen, Jack, when you're making an omelet, you got to crack a few eggs
or ribs in this case.
Yeah, that too. Ribs are good. I like ribs. Ribs are delicious.
Yeah. Anyhow, thank you all for being here. We're gonna plug our shit real quick and get out of here. On behalf of Green Haired Anti-Liberal, who was here earlier, please do go check out her channel. All the links for everybody on this panel and a bunch of other people besides are in the description below. So definitely go check out all their stuff. She does a show on Wednesdays called Cooking the Book. She has started reading this week the 1816 or 1818 novel Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Pretty fascinating time, good time. And you can also see her on like Ballbusters and right here on Screaming Into the Void and other places that she pops up on. So definitely go check her out. Shadow, what do you got? Where are you going to be and where can people find you?
Howdy, everyone. I'm the Shadow of the Hawk. 20 credit hours is a lot more than I thought it was going to be. So no clue on a consistent, and then I'm working pretty much every night. So no clue on a consistent upload schedule. But tonight, right now, I will be continuing my reading of The Black Company. Didn't get too far because I was tired the last time, but hopefully I'm going to try to get to at least chapter 3 this time. And then after that, if I'm still awake, you might catch me over in the chat of the line. Crap, which channel is it? Is it Exiled Linus or Linus Exiled? She's lost so many.
Exiled Linus 2.
Exiled Linus.
She only lost 1.
Yeah, only lost 1 channel.
Didn't she lose 2?
No.
Must get so.
No, we're still on the 2nd channel for now.
Okay. Yeah, well that'll probably change at some point, given YouTube is YouTube. And then yep, that's about it. Unless something comes up, which I'll tweet about over on Shadow of Hawk 55, which is my Twitter, where you can see me schizo posting, losing my shit, and pissing Sam off.
Probably getting banned for like a 7th time.
It's only been 9 times. Wait, 9?
Has it been 9 times? Because I was actually kidding about 7. I thought it was only like 4.
No, it's definitely been more than 4.
It's only been 3. 2. Wait, this is my 3rd account, so it's only been 2.
Yeah. Kid gets kicked off Twitter pretty regular because he can't keep his fucking mouth shut.
Elon's Twitter. If I was on old school Twitter, I'd be going through Twitter accounts the same way an M240 goes through.
Oh no! If you were on old school Twitter, they would have prevented you from creating new accounts. At this point,
they would just see like they would look at my IP address and be like, "Fuck, do not let this man on."
Yeah. Larry, do you have anything you want to plug? Anything coming up that you want people to know about?
You guys can see me in the chat in a little while as a moderator for the world famous Exile Linus 2 channel. And you can catch me next Friday on Abyss of Musings without my co-star Samuel the Infamous. It's going to be a lot of fun. Don't worry, Sam. I'm not going to get your channel shut down. I already know what I'm going to do.
Good deal. As for myself, obviously we'll be helping out on Amir's channel tonight, Exiled Linus 2. Find us there. On Monday, I'll be over on Adam the Renaissance Nerd's channel for Mellow Mondays. While I will not be online Friday night, so no Abyssal, I won't be on Abyssal Musings or Beelzebub next week. We will have Screaming Into the Void next Saturday. And something I forgot to mention the last 2 streams that I did that I probably should have said, I will be a guest on Thursday on Anime Odyssey over with Adam the Renaissance Nerd and Dermy Wormy. So we're going to be talking about One Piece up to I forget which arc, but yeah, we'll be talking about that. So that should be a good time as well. Oh boy,
that's going to be interesting. It takes you 5 years ago. If you go back and watch One Piece, it take you how many years to get through?
Well, I'm about halfway through it, and I've been watching for 1.5 years. So
yeah.
Wait, what? What the fuck? I'm trying. I'm at like 250. What the fuck, Sam?
I'm at like episode 670 something. Yeah.
What the fuck did Gallon get me into? What?
It's a lot. I'm in season 11.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
So it just keeps going, dude. It just keeps going, and apparently there's a fair amount more than this. So anyway, we won't be talking that far ahead. I think it's only going to be going up to Marineford, the Marineford arc. I think is where we're probably going to end it at. So if you haven't watched up to the Marineford arc, there will be spoilers. Just warning you guys out there who like this sort of thing, because that's what we'll be talking about. And I am going to yell at Dermy about a couple of things, like a couple of plot points that I really hated, and also Usopp. Usopp sucks, and I hate that character. Otherwise, yeah, that's really it. That's what we got. That's what we got going on.
You hate the character that looks the blackest.
I hate the character because he's an incompetent liar.
Who suck?
Same. I hate Luffy just as much as I hate Usopp, though, as unpopular as that is.
I don't. I fucking love Luffy. Luffy's awesome.
I like the
It's
skeleton.
annoying.
The skeleton is funny as hell,
Yep.
but Luffy's my favorite.
What skeleton?
Yep.
You don't know about the skeleton?
I'm on the
comes later.
fucking lot. I'm on the arc where they're still stuck up in the sky and they're gonna be arrested
You're on
because they didn't
Skypiea?
pay. Yeah.
Oh, I have problems with Skypiea. Anyway,
I hate it. No, okay, I'm gonna vent about this. If I need to get to episode 300 of a
Hold
show
up.
for it to start getting good, and everything before that is
Hold up.
fucking garbage. Sorry.
Village is only in like episode 102. He's barely out of fucking the East Blue, man.
Hey, Sam. Hey, Zillage doesn't know about Luffy's Gear 4 ability.
He said 1021.
Yeah, it's a lot.
guys
It's a
joking?
lot. Anyway,
No spoiler.
anyway, yeah, I'm not. I don't want to spoil stuff for people, but yeah, it's there's stuff.
He's ahead of all of you.
There's a lot of this stuff. Who's saying what? What?
Zillage
What?
is saying he's ahead of all of you.
Yeah, he's at 1021, not 102.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I read that one as an exclamation point. Yeah, my bad. Fair enough. Anyhow,
Andy is correct. That is a significantly better franchise.
Oh,
Anyhow,
notice how he omitted the Netflix show.
yeah, well, it's the only reason I'm watching the anime is because I watched the Netflix show and I said I liked it, and Dermy was like, "You can't like that. It's not the anime. It's not as good." All this stuff, and so we got into this argument, and then we made a deal. Then we made a deal. I told him if he watched all of Stargate, I would watch all of One Piece. And I know that sounds stupid, given the amount of episodes we're talking on One Piece, but the fact is that in terms of like actual watch time, it's pretty similar. It's a pretty similar length of time, so it's really not that bad a deal. So he's still watching Stargate. I'm still watching One Piece. I do intend to finish it because I made this deal with him. We are talking about it next Thursday, so if you are into that, it should be streaming on Adam's channel, The Renaissance Nerd. I think it might be streaming on Dermy Wormy's channel too, also called Dermy Wormy. And yeah, so that'll be a fun time. But that said, yeah, Larry's correct, and Aaron Laura, yes, Larry will be continuing with Abyssal Musings. Will happen.
Uh-oh. Well, I guess we lost him again. Well,
Rip Sam.
That's okay. I got you, Sam. Don't worry. Well, thank you guys for coming. And on behalf of Sammy the Infamous, it could be worse. It could be raining flaming cobra.